टीएमसी के नेता तो पहुंचे, लेकिन जो अन्य पार्टियों के नेता आ रहे हैं, जो डेलीगेशन आ रहे हैं, उन्हें यहाँ रोका जा रहा है और संदेशखाली का सच नहीं जानने दिया जा रहा है। ये आरोप जो तमाम नेता यहाँ पहुंच रहे हैं वो लगाते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं। आप लोगों को क्यों रोका जा रहा है? संदेशखाली क्यों नहीं जाने दिया जा रहा है? संदेशखाली क्यों नहीं जाने दिया जा रहा है?
उन लोगों से पूछिए, पुलिस से पूछिए।
महिलाओं ने, आपने उनसे बात की है?
हम लोग बात सुन रहे हैं अभी, छेड़ दो बात सुन रहे हैं अभी, बाद में बताएंगे।
शाहजहां शेख को लेकर के महिलाओं से आपने कुछ कहा? अच्छा, टीएमसी का डेलीगेशन यहाँ पर पहुंचा हुआ है, लेकिन सीपीआईएम का भी पहुंचा हुआ है, उन्हें अंदर नहीं आने दिया जा रहा है, ऐसा क्यों? क्या पश्चिम बंगाल में महिलाएं सुरक्षित हैं?
देखो आज के संदेशखाली
পশ্চিম সুজিজি পশ্চিম
ওনাদের এই মহিলারা ওনাদের অভিযোগের কথা ওনারা বলেছেন, আমরা শুনেছি, আমরা তার সমাধানের রাস্তা করছি এবং সমাধান হয়েও যাবে খুব তাড়াতাড়ি।
दीदी की सरकार में महिलाएं सुरक्षित हैं?
আমরা আপনাদের একটু আসার সময় বলেছি।
सुजी जी कुछ कहेंगे? महिलाओं से क्या बात हुई है शाहजहां शेख को लेकर के? उन्होंने कोई शिकायत की आपसे?
बाद में बताएंगे दीदी, बाद में बताएंगे।
तो सुजीत बोस यहाँ पर कुछ भी बोलने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। उनका कहना है कि महिलाओं से बात हुई है, बाद में बताएंगे। और ऐसे ही पहले भी रिपब्लिक भारत के कैमरे के सामने वो बचते हुए नजर आए थे। पार्थ भौमिक भी आ रहे हैं, उनसे भी हम बात करने की कोशिश करते हैं। हालांकि यहाँ टीएमसी का डेलीगेशन पहुंचा जरूर है, लेकिन बात करने के लिए नजर बिल्कुल भी तैयार नजर नहीं आ रहा है। दीदी के राज में महिलाएं सुरक्षित है पार्थ जी? दीदी के राज में महिलाएं सुरक्षित है पार्थ जी?
सब महिला सुरक्षित है।
तो ये हिंदू महिलाओं पर अत्याचार क्यों?
कोई अत्याचार नहीं हो रहा है।
टीएमसी का डेलीगेशन
बीजेपी का एजेंट है, आप बोल रहा है।
नहीं, आप सवाल का जवाब दीजिए।
आप बीजेपी
मीडिया के ऊपर ही भड़कने लगते हैं।
आप बीजेपी का एजेंट,
आप मुझे धक्का मत दीजिए प्लीज। तो ये है पार्थ भौमिक, जो कि बंगाल के मिनिस्टर है, लेकिन जब महिलाओं की बात आती है तो बीजेपी को दोष देते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं। यहाँ उन्होंने कुछ भी बोलने से इनकार किया और उल्टा मीडिया पर ही बरस गए।
Despite the attempts by the Mamata Banerjee government, we at Republic Media Network continue to report. Republic Bangla is on the ground, Republic Bharat on the ground, Republic TV on the ground, reporting about the horrors of Sandeshkhali. More reports being filed. Listen in. More and more women speaking out today.
এই মুহূর্তে তুমি দেখতেই পাচ্ছ সৃজিতা, সুজিত বসু এবং পার্থ ভৌমিক তারা আজকে একটি বৈঠক ডেকেছেন সন্দেশখালীতে ত্রিমণি বাজার এলাকায়, যেখানে 144 ধারা গতকালই কিন্তু উঠে গিয়েছে। আজকে তারা এখানে একটি দলীয় বৈঠক ডেকেছে এবং সন্দেশখালীর সমস্ত স্থানীয় যারা নেতৃত্ব রয়েছে তাদের নিয়ে আজকে একটি দলীয় বৈঠক তারা সারবেন। এবং আমরা দেখতে পেলাম সুজিত বসু, পার্থ ভৌমিককে যারা গ্রামের বাসিন্দা তারা ফুল মালা দিয়ে স্বাগত জানালেন এবং ইতিমধ্যেই তারা ভেতরে প্রবেশ করেছেন। ইতিমধ্যে যারা গ্রামের অন্যান্য বাসিন্দারা রয়েছেন তারা একে একে ভেতরে প্রবেশ করছেন। আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি আজকে এই দলীয় বৈঠকে সমস্ত সমস্যার কথা তারা শুনবেন, এমনটাই কিন্তু সুজিত বসু জানালেন। আমি একটু গ্রামবাসীদের সঙ্গে অবশ্যই কথা বলার চেষ্টা করব। দাদা, আজকে কি আপনারা বৈঠকে এসেছেন? কারা ডেকে পাঠিয়েছে?
আমাদের পার্টি থেকে আমরা এসেছি।
পার্টি থেকে আপনারা এসেছেন, তো আপনারা কি নিজেদের সমস্যার কথা জানাবেন?
না, আমরা যেহেতু আমাদের মন্ত্রী এসছে সুজিত বাবু, আমরা ওনাকে দেখতে এসেছি, ওনার সঙ্গে কথা বলতে এসেছি।
আপনাদের সমস্যার কথা আপনারা কি জানেন?
আমার জমি ভিটে দখল করে নিয়েছে আমার ওই সঞ্জীব নস্কর, হ্যাঁ, আর গৌরায় এদের কত জানাইছে, গৌরায় থেকে এইসব করেছে স্যার। গৌরায়
সমস্ত কথা অভিযোগ
গৌরায় সিপিএমতে জানাবো।
হ্যাঁ, জমি জায়গা সব ভিডিও করে নিয়েছে। হ্যাঁ জানাবো। আজকে মারামারিও হয়েছে বাড়িতে, ঘর শরীরের লেগেরা মারামারিও করেছে। জমি জায়গা রেকর্ড দলিল সব নিয়ে এসেছি, সব আমি দেখাতে চাই। এই মুহূর্তে আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি পার্থ ভৌমিক, তিনিও কিন্তু সব চলে আসছি। আমাদের পার্টির লোকেরা সবার কাছে জানাইছি, কেউ বিচার করিনি। পার্টির লোকেরা টিএমসি করতাম, হ্যাঁ অত্যাচার সরকারি লোক পার্টির লোকেরা জানিয়েছে আর বিচার করেনি, ওরা বেদখল করে দিয়েছে জমি জায়গা ভিটা বাড়ি গ্রাম বৌঠাকরানি। হ্যাঁ ওখান থেকে এসেছি। হ্যাঁ জানাবো কি অভিযোগ রয়েছে, কি অভিযোগ রয়েছে?
আমার জায়গা আমি ইট ফেলছি, আমার জায়গা ঘর বাঁধতে দিচ্ছে না, আর রাস্তা পুরো মেন রাস্তা পুরো ঘেরা দিচ্ছে, আমাদের ঢুকতে দিচ্ছে না।
তোমরা অভিযোগ জানিয়েছি?
না জানাইনি, আমরা অভিযোগ জানাইনি।
পুলিশের কাছে জানাও?
পুলিশের কাছে আগের বার অনেকবার জানাইছি, পুলিশ এলাও করেনি। বলে এ নাম্বার কাছে যাও, শাহজাহানের কাছে যাও, শিবু হাজারের কাছে যাও। হ্যাঁ আমি বলবো জনগণকে চাই, আমি 72 ভূমি মন্ত্রীকে স্যারকে আমি বলি আমাদের অনুরোধ, আমার জমি ভিটে দখল করে দিয়েছে, ঘরে ঘর বাঁধতে যাচ্ছে না। নেতারা গৌর রায় থেকে এইসব করতে সিকিমেতে টিএমসি আসছে। আমি কত নেতা মন্ত্রীকে জানাইছি, নেতাদের জানাইছি, নেতারা শুধু শাহজাহানকে জানাইছি, শাহজাহান থাকতে শাহজাহান শিবুহারের পাঠায়। সমস্যা মেটা মন্ত্রীকে জানাবো, সে কি করে? আমার নাম তপন নস্কর, আমার নাম বৌঠাকুরানি, গ্রাম নাম থানা সন্দেশখালী, মৌজা বৌঠাকুরানি। আমার নামে রেকর্ড, আমি কৃষক বন্ধুর টাকা পাই, আমি দেখাবো কৃষক বন্ধু। টিএমসি করে, সিপিএম টিএমসি ঢুকেছে।
তুমি শুনতেই পাচ্ছ এই মুহূর্তে সৃজিতা, তারা তৃণমূল দল করেন, অথচ তাদের অভিযোগ কিন্তু শোনা হয় না দলের তরফ থেকে। বারবার তারা অভিযোগ জানিয়েছেন, পুলিশ প্রশাসনের কাছে ছুটে গিয়েছেন, তাতেও কোনো লাভ হয়নি। এবং আজকে তারা এই সন্দেশখালীতে ত্রিমণি বাজার এলাকায়, যেখানে সুজিত বসু এবং পার্থ ভৌমিক দলীয় বৈঠক করছেন দলীয় কর্মীদের নিয়ে, তাদের কাছে অভিযোগ জানাতে কিন্তু এসেছেন দূর দূরান্ত থেকে মানুষজন। কি বলছেন তারা আরো একবার? বাচ্চা কাচ্চা থাকতে দিচ্ছে না, মারামারি করছে, ঘর বাড়ি ঠিক করতে দেবে না, রাস্তা দেবে না, সারা বছর কাদা পায়ে হাঁটতে হবে, রাস্তা বানাতে দেবে না, ইট ফেলতে দেবে না, টাইম অত্যাচার করছে, টাইম কলে জল দিতে দেয়নি আমাদের। সবাই টাইম কল পেয়েছে, আমাদের টাইম কলে জল দিতে দেয়নি। আমাদের রেকর্ড দলিল, তার মধ্যে আমরা একেবারে শুনতেই পাচ্ছি সুজিতা, একের পর এক অভিযোগ গ্রামবাসীদের। কেউ বলছেন চাষের জমি কেড়ে নেওয়া হচ্ছে, কেউ বলছেন রাস্তা খারাপ, কেউ বলছেন জল পাওয়া যায় না, কলে জল পড়ে না। দীর্ঘদিন ধরে এই সমস্যায় ভুগতে হচ্ছে সন্দেশখালীর গ্রামের বাসিন্দাদের। এই মুহূর্তে ছবিটা দেখানোর জন্য বলবো রোহিতকে, আমার ভিডিও জার্নালিস্ট রোহিতগণ আমার সঙ্গে রয়েছে। রোহিতের ছবিটা দেখাও, কত মানুষ এসেছেন, কত মানুষ এই মুহূর্তে। এই যে মন্ত্রীদের বৈঠক হচ্ছে, এই মুহূর্তে পার্থ ভৌমিক, রাজ্যের 2 মন্ত্রী, সেচ মন্ত্রী দমকল মন্ত্রী সুজিত বসু, সেচ মন্ত্রী পার্থ ভৌমিক, তারা এসেছেন। দুজনে বিভিন্ন গ্রাম পরিদর্শন করেছেন তারা সন্দেশখালীতে, এবং এই মুহূর্তে দলীয় বৈঠকে তারা যোগ দিয়েছেন।
Bhaskar is joining me live. Bhaskar is our correspondent from the Republic Bangla team, and he's on the ground. Bhaskar, what's the situation? Where is Sheikh Shahjahan? And why did all that deployment happen? Why did all the police officers come there for the last 48 hours if they had nobody to arrest?
Well, Niranjan, Sheikh Shahjahan is still on the run for past 50 days and Sheikh Shahjahan is still back with Mamata Banerjee and her government. And today when I was speaking to the local MLA Shukumar Mahato, he clearly mentioned that they didn't have any complaint, they yet to receive any complaint against Sheikh Shahjahan, and Sheikh Shahjahan is a clean leader as the TMC MLA is claiming. And on the other hand, when I asked Bengal Minister Sujit Bose, he's a part of the TMC delegation team which visited today, and also it will visit again on tomorrow in Khali area of Sandeshkhali. Bengal Minister Sujit Bose clearly claimed that the party yet to receive a single complaint against Sheikh Shahjahan, and if Sheikh Shahjahan did anything wrong, then the law will take its course. But the question is, there are a heavy number of police deployed all over in Sandeshkhali and the surrounding areas, but Sheikh Shahjahan is still on the run. Sheikh Shahjahan is still absconding, and a single TMC leader is yet to be arrested by the whole Bengal police. And on the other hand, Section 144 was imposed, and freshly Section 144 has been imposed in different parts of Sandeshkhali. And due to that, CPIM delegation team, including Meenakshi Mukherjee and others, they were stopped by the police in Sandeshkhali area. But on the other hand, Trinamool delegation team consisting two Bengal ministers, Partha Bhumik and Sujit Bose, they were allowed to roam around Sandeshkhali freely, and they held a meeting. They held a meeting in just ahead of this 144 imposed area in Sandeshkhali, just adjacent to Sandeshkhali police station. And what we saw, a number of TMC workers, they gathered in Sandeshkhali area, breaking that section 144. But the police, they didn't even take a single action on them. And this is the question also raised by the opposition parties like BJP and CPIM here in Bengal, that section 144 is imposed for all. But the Mamata police, Mamata administration only using it against the opposition party leaders. And where is section 144 for the Trinamool, the ruling party workers in Sandeshkhali, in Bengal, or in any part of the surrounding areas of Sandeshkhali, in which the common people, they are raising questions on Mamata government? Over to you, Niranjan.
Thank you for joining us with those inputs. Moving on from Bengal now to Assam, in a significant move, one that could be controversial as well, or rather has been controversial, at least politically. The Himanta government has scrapped the Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act, inching a step closer towards the Uniform Civil Code implementation in the state. The opposition in Assam is unhappy. The AIUDF and Badruddin Ajmal calling it a move to instigate Muslims in Assam.
मुसलमानों को भड़का के अपना वोट वो लोग पोलराइज कराना चाहते हैं, जो मुसलमान नहीं होने देंगे।
पहले 3 तलाक, उसके बाद ये
और भी बहुत कुछ है।
असम में यूसीसी लाने का एक पहल
ये पहला स्टेप है। यूसीसी लाने का पहला स्टेप है।
ये जो कल जो ये असम में मुस्लिम मैरिज,
लेकिन इसी के जरिए से बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट मर जाएगी असम में।
तो आने वाले चुनाव में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे कि हिंदी अलायंस कैसा ये
इंडिया महागठबंधन मोदी जी को, बीजेपी को, एनडीए को जबरदस्त टक्कर देगा, और हमारी पार्टी 3 सीट जीतने के बाद हम लोग जाके इंडिया महागठबंधन को सपोर्ट देंगे।
एआईडीएफ इसका विरोध करेंगे, जो ये कैबिनेट का जो
इलेक्शन के बाद
करेंगे, इससे पहले आप क्या
कुछ नहीं करेंगे,
कोर्ट में भी जाएंगे?
मैं चुप रहूंगी।
Aniruddha joining me live on the broadcast. Aniruddha, the argument of the Assam government is that it will stop or end child marriages. Does it do just that or more? And why is this controversial?
Yes, Niranjan. In fact, in the cabinet briefing yesterday, Minister Jayanta Malla Barua is also the spokesperson of the Assam government, make it very clear that this is in fact a step towards Uniform Civil Code. And he had said that as Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma had been in favor of the Uniform Civil Code, had been lobbying for Uniform Civil Code in a state, and this is a step towards journey for the Uniform Civil Code in the state. And he has said that yes, these will bring an end to many child marriage registration, as through bribery, many illegal marriages were given the color of legal marriage as the registers, without checking much of the documents that is required for marriage registration, were registering those marriages, those child marriages, under the Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act of 1935. And it is also as initiative of the government in order to repeal all the acts, all the draconian acts of which were actually imposed by the Britishers, and bring in fresh laws which are truly applicable in today's context, Niranjan.
Thank you for joining us with those inputs. Assam, is it getting ready to implement the Uniform Civil Code? Focus on that. After Uttarakhand, focus on the developments in Assam as well. Taking a short break here on the biggest story tonight. More on the preparations and the run-up to the 2024 elections. Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party finalizing seat sharing ahead of the big elections, pact announced for 5 states.
$15,000 placements in 2022-23. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
In the last decade, there's been an explosion of consumer-directed wearable devices that can help them monitor certain health conditions. And while that explosion of technology is great and that interest is great on the patient side and the clinician side, we need to understand more of how to really utilize it clinically to make the best use for the patient, but also to help the clinician make decisions that'll help improve the life of the patient. I'm Lakshmi Mehta, and I'm a preventative cardiologist at The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. Lately in my clinic, I've seen more patients starting to ask about their wearable devices. So some of that may be watches or rings that they've used or even pulse oxes that they have at home. And they're asking, what does this data mean? Or I'm experiencing this, can you look at what the output of this device is? And it's kind of empowered them to take things beyond our office visit to try and understand why they may be feeling something or why they may not be experiencing what they would like to in terms of sleep. And so they come and ask me, what should I do about this? These wearable devices that patients have can help in several different ways. Like if it's some of the rings can kind of tell them what their heart rates are like, how their sleep is impacted, how much sleep they're getting, how deep that sleep is. Some of them can even tell about body temperature, so are they starting to get sick or not. Watches can look at heart rates, look at step counts, and that's where the industry first started, was on step counts. And now the watches can even look at your heart rhythm and give you simple EKGs. There's other devices that the patient doesn't necessarily wear, but they can just touch their fingers to at home, and it can give you an EKG even to tell you what your heart rhythm is doing at that time. So the accuracy of the devices really vary. Not all of them are FDA cleared, and so that can be problematic and why you have to use it with the caution and share it with your clinician. So I've had some patients that have come into the office and it has indicated that they might be having an extra heartbeat or an early heartbeat, as we like to call it, that makes them feel certain ways. I've had some patients that have shown me on their device that they have atrial fibrillation, and so what they're feeling is real, and then we need to alter their medications. And then for some patients, it's been helpful for them that when they feel something, they're reassured that the rhythm looks okay. I've had other patients that have said, now I know why I'm having so many palpitations. I'm not getting enough sleep, or it's not deep enough sleep, so now I'm working on that. So some patients have even said that when they were right before they were getting COVID or some other illness, they noticed that their ring was telling them that their temperature was creeping up. So it's been interesting to see those little tips that patients can see in themselves before they actually surface to our office. Now, one thing I do want to warn people about the wearable devices is the wearable devices will not detect if you're having a heart attack. So if you think you're having a heart attack or stroke, you really should just be calling 911. Sometimes patients wear our heart monitors and they might wear it for 30 days or a day or two, and we don't catch anything, and the patients are always frustrated. And when they have these devices, whether it's a watch or another device where they can put their fingers on and catch an EKG, then they have a little bit more sense of control of like, I didn't have it when I wore the monitor, but I'm feeling it now. Let me capture it. And it's funny thing is we do capture things on those that we might have missed on a monitor because it wasn't worn long enough.
I am very, very happy to announce that Niva Bopa Health Insurance has come on board as Republic TV's Studio One. Niva Bupa Health Insurance is the fastest growing company among standalone health insurance players in India. It has also provided health insurance coverage to 1.1 crore people in India and settled over 15 lakh claims, processing one claim every 60 seconds. So we are delighted to be partnering with them.
One thing that was made clear to me is that Yolanda she's gonna continue the fight he had underway. So we're not letting up. This morning I had the honor of meeting with Collection of Valmi's wife and daughter.
This is Republic Niva Bupa Studio, your one stop for all the breaking news updates, and I am Nikita Sahai.
I am not a Malala Yousafzai. I am not a Malala Yousafzai. Because I am free and I'm safe in my country, India. In my homeland, Kashmir, which is part of India. I am not a Malala Yousafzai. I am not a Malala Yousafzai. Because I am free and I'm safe in my country, India. In my homeland, Kashmir, which is part of India. I will never need to run away from my homeland and seek refuge in your country. Honorable MPs. Be a Malala Yousafzai. But I object to Malala Yousafzai defaming my country, my progressing homeland by calling it oppressed. I object to all such toolkit members on social media and from foreign media who've never cared to visit Indian Kashmir but fabricate stories of oppression from there. I urge you all to stop polarizing Indians on grounds of religion. We won't allow you to break us. Divas, all I hope for is that our perpetrators living in UK and Pakistan will stop maligning my country in international media, on international human rights forums. Stop unwanted selective outrage. Stop trying to polarize Indian society remotely from your cozy UK living rooms. Thousands of Kashmiri mothers have lost their sons already because of this dark hole of terrorism. Stop coming after us. Let my Kashmiri community live in peace. Thank you and Jai Hind.
One thing that was made clear to me is that Yolanda she's gonna continue the fight he had underway. So we're not letting up.
A team of the National Human Rights Commission reached Dhammakali in Sandeshkhali of North 24 Parganas. This is the second day of their visit to the unrest-stricken area to survey the localities and speak to the residents. A delegation of TMC leaders, including Ministers Sujit Bose and Partho Bhaumik and other party members, have reached Dhammakali in Sandeshkhali to meet the locals. Members of the TMC are expected to hold a party meeting in Sandeshkhali despite Section 144 being imposed in the area. Earlier, locals alleged that Mamata's cops freely let TMC leaders enter the area, whereas the others were halted. West Bengal police stopped CPIM delegation led by Meenakshi Mukherjee from venturing further into interior villages of Sandeshkhali. Following this, CPIM delegates staged a sit-in protest and raised slogans against the police. West Bengal BJP President Shukantu Majumdar says that the TMC is afraid of something scandalous getting revealed in the Sandeshkhali, which is why they are obstructing other party leaders and media from going there.
ये तो क्लियर है, वो छुपाना चाहते हैं कुछ के जो सामने आने से उनको दिक्कत होगा, इसीलिए किसी को जाना अलाउ नहीं। ओनली टीएमसी जो के लीडर्स है वो जा सकते हैं और पुलिस जा सकती है, और पुलिस को देखते ही जनता भड़क जा रही है क्योंकि पुलिस की उपस्थिति में अत्याचार हुआ है।
Union Minister Meenakshi Lekhi criticized Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, slamming her affinity towards mafia dons like Shahjahan Sheikh and not towards the oppressed women of Sandeshkhali. Lekhi also asserted that the BJP stands with the mothers and daughters of Bengal.
ममता बनर्जी जैसी मुख्यमंत्री बंगाल की बेटियों के साथ नहीं है, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में ऐसी सब माताओं, बहनें, बच्चियों के साथ है जिनके साथ लगातार उत्पीड़न की व्यवस्था पश्चिम बंगाल की सरकार ने खड़ी कर रखी है।
In a joint press conference, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party announced seat sharing for the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. Congress General Secretary and MP Mukul Wasnik briefed on the agreements made between the two parties for Delhi, Haryana, Gujarat, Goa and Chandigarh. Post the announcement of seat sharing for the Aam Aadmi Party Congress alliance, Aam Aadmi Party Minister Sandeep Patnaik says that this alliance will contest keeping in mind the interest of the nation over politics. He added that at a time when BJP is capturing all institutions and going after the opposition, the India alliance will fight together to defeat the NDA.
चुनावों की चोरी करने के लिए, चुनावों को जीतने के लिए विपक्षी नेताओं को जेल में डाला जा रहा है। इसी को ध्यान में रखते हुए और अपने स्वयं के राजनीतिक बड़े छोटे हितों को दरकिनार करके देश के हितों को सामने रखकर
On the Congress Aam Aadmi Party alliance, Congress leader Pawan Khera stated that a larger goal for the alliance is to replace the BJP. He also said that this collaboration will strengthen the India alliance enough to come to pass in the centre. BJP reacted to the seat-sharing deal between Aam Aadmi Party and Congress. BJP MP Manoj Tiwari said that the same Aam Aadmi Party who had ousted the Congress from their 15 years of rule in Delhi has now joined hands with Rahul Gandhi. He added that the people of Delhi will give them a befitting reply. West Bengal Congress President Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary claims that TMC is in an internal dilemma over continuing with the India alliance. He suggested that the TMC's indecision stems from concerns over securing minority votes and facing the heat of central agencies like ED and CBI. TMC MP Shantanu Sen slammed Congress's Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, saying that Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary in the past few years has been doing everything possible to malign the anti-BJP force. This comes after the Congress leader said that the TMC is in a dilemma over whether or not to join the Indy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated and laid the foundation stone of multiple development projects worth over 34,400 crore rupees under the Viksit Bharat Viksit Chhattisgarh initiative. The initiative caters to various sectors including roads, railways, coal, solar energy and power. Addressing the Viksit Bharat Viksit Chhattisgarh event, Prime Minister Modi hailed the progress in the state. He said that lakhs of farmers of Chhattisgarh have been given the bonus that was pending for 2 years and that houses are being built for the poor, which was stopped under the previous Congress administration.
छत्तीसगढ़ के लाखों किसानों को 2 वर्ष का बकाया बोनस दिया जा चुका है। पहले की कांग्रेस सरकार गरीबों के घर बनाने से भी रोक रही थी। अब भाजपा सरकार गरीबों के घर बनाने के लिए तेजी से काम कर दिया है।
Virtually addressing the Viksit Bharat Viksit Chhattisgarh program, Prime Minister attacked the Congress, saying that the Grand Old Party cannot think beyond Parivarvad, corruption and appeasement, but the country's development has never been on its agenda.
कांग्रेस परिवारवाद, भ्रष्टाचार और तुष्टीकरण से आगे सोच ही नहीं पाती। जो सिर्फ अपने परिवारों के लिए काम करते हैं, वो आपके परिवारों के बारे में कभी नहीं सोच सकते।
In a pincer attack to the Congress, Prime Minister Modi says that after independence, the Congress ruled the country for a long time, but its focus was only on forming the government and not building the future of the country.
सरकारें बार बार बनाई, लेकिन भविष्य का भारत बनाना भूल गई, क्योंकि उनके मन में सरकार बनाना यही काम था। देश को आगे बढ़ाना ये उनके एजेंडा में ही नहीं था।
Congress leader Udit Raj has politicized the Pulwama attacks in which 40 Jawans were martyred. He said that if the BJP can make something like Pulwama attack happen, then they might win the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. He also alleged that the BJP conducted the Pulwama attacks which made India emotional. Politicizing the Balkot airstrikes, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi meanwhile said that the BJP uses incidents like this to divert the people from real issues. In a tragic incident, at least 24 people died in Uttar Pradesh's Kasganj after a high-speed tractor trolley lost control and overturned in a pond. Vehicle was reportedly carrying devotees to Kadarganj Ghat to take a bath in the holy Ganga. The incident was reported near the Daryavganj station of the Patiali Kotwali area. Taking cognizance of the Kasganj road accident which killed 24 people, UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath expressed his condolences to the affected families and has announced to give 2 lakh rupees as ex gratia to the families of those deceased in the accident and 50,000 rupees to those injured. Chief Minister has also said that the treatment would be free of cost for those injured. Prime Minister Modi launched multiple key initiatives in the cooperative sector at the Bharat Mandapam today. He inaugurated the pilot project of the world's largest grain storage plant, which is being done in 11 primary agricultural credit societies in 11 states. Speaking at the Bharat Mandapam, Prime Minister Modi said that the PACS initiative will give new expansion to agriculture infrastructure in the country and connect agriculture to modern technology. At the launch of the e-Pax event, Prime Minister Modi said that by strengthening the foundation of agriculture and farming, another major accomplishment has been achieved in the Amrit Yatra of Vikasit Bharat. He also emphasized on the importance of the Ministry of Cooperation. Prime Minister Modi will dedicate to the nation the Sudarshan Setu connecting Okha mainland and Bait Dwarka Island tomorrow. It has been built at a cost of around 980 crore rupees and it is slated to be the longest cable-stayed bridge in the country. Prime Minister Modi is set to dedicate 5 new AIIMS to the nation in a single day tomorrow. AIIMS Rajkot, AIIMS Raebareli, AIIMS Bhatinda, AIIMS Mangalagiri and AIIMS Kalyani are set to cater to the super specialty and tertiary medical care need of over 50 crore people from these neighbouring states. In a case related to violence that took place in Balbunpura and Haldwani, an accused, Abdul Malik, who is allegedly the mastermind, has been arrested. Nainital police is carrying out further investigation into the matter. 3 new criminal law bills that were passed in the Lok Sabha in 2023 December are set to be enacted from the 1st of July. The 3 bills are Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita and the Bharatiya Sakshi Bill. The NIA has attached properties belonging to 4 accused individuals in Tehsil Handwara. NIA has also seized cash worth 2.27 crore rupees under Section 25 of the UAPA. This action comes as part of a case regarding the utilization of proceeds from narcotics to finance activities by terror groups like the Lashkar-e-Taiba. Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar said that despite the tensions in the Delhi Chalo protest, there should be no doubts about Haryana's commitment to its farmers. He referred to farmers as annadatas and pointed out that when it comes to addressing their problems, the opposition seems hesitant to engage in discussions. Amrita University offers one of the top MBA programs in India. University has been ranked among the top 7 universities in India by the National Institutional Ranking Framework. Amrita School of Business is shaping the leaders of tomorrow, highlighting an incredible placement rate of 98.4%. Today marks the 2nd anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine conflict as the war between the two nations enters year number 3. Russia invaded Ukraine on the 24th of February 2022. At United Nations Security Council meet, Ukraine's foreign minister urged the world's nations to support his country in order to give peace a chance. Foreign Minister of Ukraine said that Ukraine will not allow Russia to kill them freely and nor will they accept any offer to surrender. UN General Assembly and Security Council representatives reiterated their demand to Russia to stop its war aggression against Ukraine and to ensure the full, immediate and unconditional withdrawal of all Russian forces and military equipment from the territory. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni arrives in Kiev by train to mark the 2nd anniversary of the war. Meloni travelled along with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Belgian Prime Minister Alexander De Croo and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Western leaders arrived in Kiev to mark the 2nd anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine war. Foreign leaders are in Ukraine to express solidarity with the Ukrainian forces, which are running low on ammunition and weaponry as Western aid hangs in balance. Many Western world leaders gathered in Ukraine attending a ceremony at the Hostomel airfield, the scene of the first major battle in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, where Ukrainian President Zelensky gave a speech and presented Ukrainian soldiers with military awards. Hundreds unfurled a huge rainbow peace flag in Rome to call for peace on the 2nd anniversary of Russia-Ukraine war. Demonstrators gathered in front of Rome City Hall holding rainbow peace flags to call for a ceasefire in Ukraine, Gaza and other parts of the world with ongoing conflicts. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz emphasized the importance of increased defense spending in Germany and Europe. He said that Germany has long neglected its military budget and his government has increased the military spending at 2% of the total economic output. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu visited military forces in Ukraine, where he inspected weaponry and gave military awards to Russian soldiers. Minister Shoigu also discussed plans to supply troops with drones and other AI technologies to boost their efficiency. Yulia Navalnaya, the widow of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, accused President Vladimir Putin of breaking every law, every man and God by not giving over her husband's body. Now, Navalny was Russia's most well-known opposition politician who died on the 16th of February during his incarceration in a Russian penal colony. The head of the Russian Anti-Corruption Foundation and a close associate of Navalny has offered 20,000 euros for comprehensive information about the death of the late opposition leader. An official stated that any information that can give some leads would be helpful in identifying the aides of Putin's crimes. President Joe Biden met with a group of nations' governors to talk about several national issues. Discussion included a back and forth on immigration, the bipartisan infrastructure law, permitting reform and budget issues. Dozens of social organizations and left-wing parties rallied to protest in Buenos Aires to demand President Javier Milei provide food for soup kitchens. Protesters gathered near the Ministry of Human Capital, partially blocking public roads to demand a solution to the hunger crisis. Rio de Janeiro started vaccinating 10-year-olds against dengue fever, part of a campaign launched by Brazil's Ministry of Health to immunize children aged 10 to 14. Now this after Rio government declared a dengue fever epidemic in the state. Hundreds of migrants were dropped off at a San Diego bus stop by Border Patrol officers because it ran out of local funding. This comes amidst an unprecedented immigration crisis in the largest city in the U.S. southern border. Slamming the criminal indictments against him, former U.S. President Donald Trump says that the cases against him have boosted his support among the black American voters because they see him as a victim of discrimination. Dozens of protesting farmers forced their way to enter the Paris Agricultural Fair, where French President Emmanuel Macron was due to visit. The protesters shouted Macron resign amid increasing tensions between farmers and EU nations for a new Green Deal. Taiwan chip giant TSMC opens first semiconductor plant in Japan, makes key development in global expansion push and signaling Japan's big comeback in the chip sector. Earlier this month, TSMC announced a second plant in Japan, bringing the total investments in the chip sector of Japan to a whopping $20 billion. Donald Trump says that he would strongly support the availability of IVF and called on the lawmakers in Alabama to preserve the access to the treatment. Trump's position comes after a ruling by the Alabama Supreme Court that frozen embryos can be considered children under state law. Over 100 cars collided on an icy stretch of an expressway in the Chinese city of Suzhou, injuring several people as snow and ice disrupted traffic across the country. Traffic police reported that 3 were injured and hospitalized. 6 others suffered minor abrasions.
$15,000 placements in 2022-23. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
I am very, very happy to announce that Niva Bupa Health Insurance has come on board as Republic TV's studio partner. Niva Bupa Health Insurance is the fastest growing company among standalone health insurance players in India. It has also provided health insurance coverage to 1.1 crore people in India and settled over 15 lakh claims, processing 1 claim every 60 seconds. So we are delighted to be partnering with them.
In the last decade, there's been an explosion of consumer-directed wearable devices that can help them monitor certain health conditions. And while that explosion of technology is great and that interest is great on the patient side and the clinician side, we need to understand more of how to really utilize it clinically to make the best use for the patient, but also to help the clinician make decisions that'll help improve the life of the patient. I'm Lakshmi Mehta, and I'm a preventative cardiologist at The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. Lately in my clinic, I've seen more patients starting to ask about their wearable devices. So some of that may be watches or rings that they've used or even pulse oxes that they have at home. And they're asking, what does this data mean? Or I'm experiencing this, can you look at what the output of this device is? And it's kind of empowered them to take things beyond our office visit to try and understand why they may be feeling something or why they may not be experiencing what they would like to in terms of sleep. And so they come and ask me, what should I do about this? These wearable devices that patients have can help in several different ways. Like if it's some of the rings can kind of tell them what their heart rates are like, how their sleep is impacted, how much sleep they're getting, how deep that sleep is. Some of them can even tell about body temperature. So are they starting to get sick or not? Watches can look at heart rates, look at step counts, and that's where the industry first started, was on step counts. And now the watches can even look at your heart rhythm and give you simple EKGs. There's other devices that the patient doesn't necessarily wear, but they can just touch their fingers to at home, and it can give you an EKG even to tell you what your heart rhythm is doing at that time. So the accuracy of the devices really vary. Not all of them are FDA cleared, and so that can be problematic and why you have to use it with the caution and share it with your clinician. So I've had some patients that have come into the office and it has indicated that they might be having an extra heartbeat or an early heartbeat, as we like to call it, that makes them feel certain ways. I've had some patients that have shown me on their device that they have atrial fibrillation, and so what they're feeling is real, and then we need to alter their medications. And then for some patients, it's been helpful for them that when they feel something, they're reassured that the rhythm looks okay. I've had other patients that have said, now I know why I'm having so many palpitations. I'm not getting enough sleep, or it's not deep enough sleep. So now I'm working on that. So some patients have even said that when they were right before they were getting COVID or some other illness, they noticed that their ring was telling them that their temperature was creeping up. So it's been interesting to see those little tips that patients can see in themselves before they actually surface to our office. Now, one thing I do want to warn people about the wearable devices is the wearable devices will not detect if you're having a heart attack. So if you think you're having a heart attack or stroke, you really should just be calling 911. Sometimes patients wear our heart monitors and they might wear it for 30 days or a day or two, and we don't catch anything, and the patients are always frustrated. And when they have these devices, whether it's a watch or another device where they can put their fingers on and catch an EKG, then they have a little bit more sense of control of like, I didn't have it when I wore the monitor, but I'm feeling it now. Let me capture it. And it's funny thing is we do capture things on those that we might have missed on a monitor because it wasn't worn long enough.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And it's 2024 time. It's time for the nation's sharpest opinion. The Indy as an alliance is not over. It's not yet fully over. In my view, it is in disarray. It is certainly weak. It is certainly lacking sheen. And the question on the ability for the Indy to take on the NDA is my focus today. My focus is whether a new kind of Indy is shaping up. One in which the Congress party, which was seen as the ringleader of this alliance, the fulcrum, however weak at the start, frantically organizing meetings after making a total hash of the alliance, seems to have changed line and adopted a new approach. A new approach which I don't think can be dissociated from Rahul Gandhi's luxury coach yatra failing and his spring season in England, his England yatra beginning. Because after Rahul has jetted off, we are seeing a different Congress. A Congress which may be in touch with the reality that they cannot be settling terms for the India alliance because their allies are much stronger than them, because their allies have grassroots leaders and they don't. And in that fundamental realization, the Congress seems to be taking an approach that we will take whatever little we get instead of hardballing things. So when an Akhilesh throws half the seats of the Congress's demand, gives them 17, not 34, the Congress says...
हम शुरू से इंडिया गठबंधन की सफलता के लिए काम करते आए हैं और हालांकि कि कांग्रेस से बातचीत में फाइनल सीट शेयरिंग होने में कुछ समय लगा, लेकिन आम आदमी पार्टी शुरू से ये स्पष्ट करती आई है कि हम इंडिया गठबंधन का हिस्सा हैं और हम साथ में ही चुनाव लड़ेंगे।
Unleashing the entrepreneurial spirit, side hustle ideas for Gen Z. Ever heard of dropshipping? It's a fantastic way to start an online retail business without the hassle of managing inventory. With dropshipping, you can sell products directly to customers without stocking them yourself. If you have a way with words, freelance writing might be your calling. Many businesses are on the lookout for talented writers to create content for their websites, blogs, and social media platforms. With the rise of social media, there's a growing demand for engaging digital content. Whether it's creating videos, graphics, or written content, there's no shortage of opportunities in the world of content creation. Are you a talented artist or designer? Consider selling your creations online through platforms like Etsy or setting up your own online store. Your unique creations could find a market among Gen Z and beyond. If you have a knack for technology, consider offering tech support services, building websites, or developing mobile apps. The tech industry is booming, and there's no shortage of demand for tech-savvy individuals. With the shift towards online learning, virtual tutoring has become increasingly popular. If you excel in a particular subject, consider offering tutoring services to students in need of extra help. Are you passionate about fitness? Consider becoming a personal trainer or offering virtual fitness classes. With the growing interest in health and wellness, there's a high demand for fitness-related services. If you're a social media whiz, consider offering social media management services to businesses. Many companies are looking to expand their online presence and need help managing their social media accounts. Are you a master at planning parties and events? Consider starting an event planning business. From weddings to corporate events, there's always a demand for talented event planners. If you have a passion for photography, consider offering your services for events, portraits, or even stock photography. Your creative eye could turn into a profitable side hustle. Are you fluent in a second language? Consider offering language tutoring services. Many people are looking to learn a new language for personal or professional reasons. There you have it, a plethora of side hustle ideas for Gen Z to explore. Whether you're into art, technology, fitness, or event planning, there's a side hustle out there waiting for you.
Brace yourselves for a revolutionary leap into the world of news with the Republic World app. This is not just an app, viewers, it's a direct conduit to a world of news delivered with unparalleled authority and integrity right at your fingertips. Republic World app is your gateway to the latest updates, live streams, and the debates that have become the hallmark of our journalistic prowess. Download Republic World app, available on Google Play Store and Apple App Store.
Ladies and gentlemen, the anger is unstoppable. You should see the pictures of Sandeshkhali in Bengal to understand what's going on. Despite all the attempts at suppressing the voice of Sandeshkhali, the people of Sandeshkhali, led by the women of Sandeshkhali, are out in full force, questioning and challenging the people who have exploited them and extorted from them and assaulted them. We also agree that nobody should take the law into their own hands. But see the pictures, ladies and gentlemen. See the pictures. See the anger. The administration must also understand and also try to assess why there is so much anger in Bengal today, why the women of Bengal are so frustrated, so angry, why they've taken to the streets, why Mamata Banerjee is so unpopular. The administration and the Mamata police must also ask, how come these voices have gone unheard for so many years? Till the exploited women have said no more Mamata Banerjee, no more of this. The police and the administration must also ask, why they failed to do their job, and why even today, while they side with the mafia, while Mamata Banerjee at least sides with Shah Jahan, they are still failing to do their job. And Mamata Banerjee, her police and her administration must also understand that instead of trying to play a cat and mouse game with the media, with Republic, they must understand that what has happened in Sandeshkhali is a direct result of the government's incompetence and a direct result of their being blind or party to the suffering of the people. As of this minute, I have heard that Mafia Don Shah Jahan Sheikh, who is being backed by Mamata Banerjee, has been denied anticipatory bail. Mamata Banerjee, you're also the Home Minister of Bengal. You must make him turn up. He's your party man, he's your leader, he's your choice. You're supporting him. Don't protect him. Make him turn up.
It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our panelists for this discussion. Dr. Shikha Sharma, the founder and managing director of NutriWell Health India Private Limited. And our second panelist is Ms. Ira Trivedi, the founder of Yogla, who has tried to bridge technology with fitness. So let's get talking about selfies to self-care. Welcome all of you here. Big round of applause.
Very good evening to all of you, and thank you so much for being here today. When I was told that we'll be talking about selfies to self-care, I myself have so many thoughts on it that I was glad that we are having a full-fledged conversation. So to begin with, you know, in today's day and age, when there is such an unprecedented explosion of the selfie culture, who do you think is in the driver's seat? Is it looking good that is driving us to take all the selfies? Or is it that because we are taking the selfies, so we are tending more towards self-care?
First of all, I just want to bring a very interesting fact to mind. Did you know that about 100 years ago, less than 100 years ago, even mirrors were not usual. Many people did not have mirrors in their home. Most people had never seen their own face. This is less than 100 years ago. Can you imagine that mirrors were it was a very rare thing. Only very, very wealthy people may have a mirror or what you call a looking glass in their homes. So, आप ये सोचिए कि 100 years ago, most people never even looked at their own face. And now look what's happening today. Meaning, how many times do we look at our own face? Every single day. How many times? You know, so it's a huge shift. It's a huge mental shift in the way that we're thinking about ourselves. And this way of thinking is affecting so many parts of our life. And I actually am very concerned about the young people growing up today, because when we grew up, you know, we didn't have cell phones. You know, we didn't have access to the internet. I mean, I got my first phone when I went to college, and itna bada sa, I remember it was itna bada sa Nokia phone. You know, so we never grew up with phones, but today's children who are continuously on screens and are always looking at themselves from the time they're less than 1 year old doing FaceTime. You know, they're all doing FaceTime with their family members, and they mostly love it because they're seeing pictures of themselves. It's a very, very new, it's an entirely new neurological connection in our brain. So it's quite a dangerous place, a dangerous territory that we're really in, that we're treading.
That is exactly what I want to touch upon, because needless to say, the selfie culture has induced beauty standards. And beauty and the beauty industry has a whole new face to it as this is kicked in. You know, you have a self-perception, self-image, and sometimes you think that you're falling short of it you feel inadequate. You think in that sense, we need to very consciously draw a line of what our self-care practice should be and how we can responsibly practice a selfie culture?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question today. The reason is that on one side, you have people who are more conscious, and they are made more conscious because every time you post a picture, the first reaction is, how is she looking? How is he looking? When you meet somebody, and especially at least in India, the first thing, either they will say, you have lost weight or you have gained weight. So imagine the amount of pressure a selfie would put, because now you are sharing with thousands and thousands of people who are judging you. So first is the mental pressure which I see amongst society, and it's faced more by women than men. Because subconsciously, women have been told that looking good is important for your acceptance. And that is a tragedy, because most women as young girls, when they grow up in a wedding, the girl is said she's pretty, and the boy is said he's successful. And that's a tragedy, because a lot of women have worked hard in their professions, and yet they are measured for how they look. Now, the point number 2 is the quick fix. Now, what happens when you try to quick fix rather than having a sustained practice of loving your body, loving yourself, taking care of yourself is, so what I see is that first is women despise themselves because of their bodies, subconsciously. And that's a tragedy again. Because when you despise yourself, you open the doors for surgeries. You open the doors for all kinds of surgeries, which could be from physical correction, cosmetic correction, which you don't need. You're absolutely fine. And the second could be for liposuction, for everything possible. There are a lot of surgeries being done for virginity. So what I'm trying to say is, it just changes a woman's psyche into looking a certain way. And that's what is the problem today, that they have to fit a box.
But Ira, I would want your opinion on that, because would you also say that somewhere wanting to take a selfie becomes a sense of motivation? So you want to look good, be beautiful, project yourself a certain way, or would you think that it is slowly not moving in the right direction mentally, because at the end of it, you're subjecting yourself to the number of likes and the number of views you're getting?
Yes, it's a very slippery slope that we're on, that from looking into our mirrors to say, how are we looking today, into your image deciding how you feel today. That's something which is a very slippery slope. And as we were talking about this, I actually fast forwarded to my life like 20 years. I'm almost 40. I'm almost 40 now. And I rewinded 20 years ago when I was a participant in the Miss India pageant. I was a participant in the Miss India pageant, and I was from a very good college. I had gotten a very good scholarship to study in a college abroad, and I came to do this beauty pageant on a whim. And I walked out of this pageant because I couldn't, even at that age, the thought of being judged for the way that I looked was something I couldn't handle. I just couldn't, that wasn't something that sat right. And I actually ended up writing a book about that pageant, which became really a bestseller and kickstarted my career as a writer, and which then further went on to a deeper consciousness about wellness and teaching yoga, and that becoming something that I wanted to give to this world. But it's also the passage of time. For me at that age, thinking that this was the way that I looked would define me, into that journey that this had nothing to do with who I was. And then as you age, you realize even more how fleeting the way that you look is, and how it really doesn't matter. But what's more important is the state of your own mind. And that's what my yoga journey led me to, that it's not the state of my face, it's not the state of my career. Ultimately, what's making me happy is the state of my mind. And if the state of your mind is correct, then no matter what happens to you in life, your life will always remain balanced. Like no matter जो भी आपकी जिंदगी में हो रहा है, अगर आपकी स्थिरता मन की रहती है, तो आप कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. And then that's slowly how things progressed. So it really is a journey, but it took me, it started for me much later because we weren't exposed to so much, but I now see that things are happening at a much younger age. So that actually makes our job, very important, that we have to start spreading that awareness, much more so, that it's not the state of your face, it's not the state of your body, it's the state of your mind which will ultimately make you a successful human being. It's not how much money you make, it's not how much fame you get. And it's interesting because now I'm in Mumbai and I teach and I interact with some of the most famous people, in Bollywood, and I understand that it doesn't matter how you look, it's ultimately the state of your mind. And wo log itni fitness, physical level pe, itna fame, itna paisa, but the mind is not still, and that can still lead to a very unhappy person, which will then lead to that unhappiness can then manifest into many conscious and subconscious disease. So that's how the trajectory goes. So it's just, educating now on nutrition, which is really the first pillar of health, and then moving forward becomes very important.
And for practitioners like you, you're out there, you're putting out the message on nutrition, on yoga. So much emphasis is laid on me time, connecting with yourself, taking a walk in the woods, meditating. Would you, in equal force, put out the message of taking a digital detox every now and then?
Yes. So let's talk about what the mind is. The mind is an instrument. It's an instrument by which you understand your external world. Now this instrument, how it is getting influenced, and how it is finding stillness, where you find your happiness, is B. If you are constantly distracted by a WhatsApp message, by a phone, by an Instagram post, by a Facebook, what happens is your mind is constantly bombarding you with negativity. Now, why I say negativity is because the mind does not give you any positive information, and this is not I'm quoting from myself, these are things which I'm quoting from the Vedas. Okay, so first I'll give you a little bit about why I moved into nutrition and Vedas. Is because I trained as a medical doctor. I was working in the ICU in GB Pant Hospital, and two things stunned me. The first thing which stunned me was that we were getting patients at the fag end of their disease. That means they were just coming to die in the hospital. So we as doctors were waiting that please first get so ill, then we even look at you. So the standard thing was kuch nahi hua. Blood test mein nahi aaya, kuch nahi hua. So you're waiting for people to really fall ill and then come. And I said, this is illogical. The second thing was, in GB Pant Hospital, you have a cardiology super specialization unit and you have a neuropsychiatry. Many doctors were addicts because they were taking the drugs themselves. Now it might be different, but they had become addicted. Now, why would a smart super specialist get addicted to a drug? Because to calm the mind. Because the mind is throwing constantly, you are not good, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, this is pathetic, there's a deadline. How will you calm the mind? Now, the reason why we are talking about mental health is thanks to technology. I'm not saying technology is good or bad. Technology is like a knife. You have to know how to use it. You cannot be a slave to technology. You cannot be a slave to your mind. And technology disrupts your mind. Technology, even if you're constantly on the phone, will disrupt your breathing. And if your breathing is disrupted, your complete energy engine is disrupted. So what I'm trying to say is that many people, you send them a message, within seconds they will reply. Why? Why should they reply within seconds? Why? Because they get gratification. Oh, you're so quick. So for that, so the society is telling you, quick responses mean you're good. But what is this whole quick response about? It is about the need of somebody to reach out to you at their demand. So you are on demand, you're playing on demand. So what I'm trying to say is, when you talk about convenience foods, the convenience foods has poison inside it. The number of artificial preservatives and chemicals, they're disrupting your biochemical engine. So, but how casually we say, oh, it's junk food, it's going to make you put on weight. You know, it's almost like a poison inside your bodies, and yet we only very casually say, oh, it's junk food, it will make you put on weight. No, it will kill you. It'll kill your mind first, and then it'll kill your body. So what I'm trying to say is, if this continues, don't be surprised. So again, I'm going to give you an example. The difference between the West and the East is, and I'm sorry if I start taking names, Michael Jackson, suicide. Marilyn Monroe, suicide. King of Pop, suicide. Elvis Presley, suicide. Why so many suicides? Because they damage their mental health completely. My fear is the same thing will come to India, and you will see people at the prime of their career committing suicide, which is their mind gone wrong. Yeah.
All right. But, you know, Ira, social media, Instagram, at one end we talk about the gap between carefully edited pictures and what the reality is. On the other end, there are leading celebrities who are putting out pictures of their bare, pigmented skin, showing their freckles off, telling the world that no, we are not picture perfect. So, in that sense, do you see a sense of ownership that women are now taking about what our bodies are? It's not about fat or thin, it's not about fair or dark, and that is helping correct the mindset.
100%. I think even Fair and Lovely changed their name, right? They changed their name into something else. Yes. See, even they changed their name, right? That cream which everyone knows about, Fair and Lovely, even they've had to do it. So I think there's a very positive movement, a very positive, body positive movement, which is also spreading. It's an underlying current, because when you see things escalated at such a level, there has to be a reverse action. You know, there has to be a reverse action. That is happening. Their counterculture is happening, where women are, you know, whether it's skin color, whether it's body positivity, whether it's self-care and self-love, all of these movements are definitely beginning. And also wellness movement. There really is a very strong wellness movement. Even with yoga, I remember when I started, you know, there was Baba Ramdev, and then there was me, and that was it. You know, that was kind of the parallel. And I remember I guess I'm not allowed to say channel names maybe on this channel, but there was a national channel that I was doing a show on, and they used to say ki, agar aap please, you know, sleeveless mat pehniye, because ye yoga hai. So I was like, okay. I said, but it's more comfortable, and people can see what I'm doing, and they see the shape of the body that I'm making, so they can follow me. I said, no. But I used to say कि बाबा रामदेव तो लंगोट में करते हैं, आप उनको थोड़ी ना कुछ बोल रहे हैं. You know, it's only sort of this is not fair. So I feel like even then, you know, we've come very far away from then when I started to now, and there's so much more acceptance, because there's more acceptance of women's bodies. There's more acceptance of women's bodies, of what they're wearing, and it first begins with ourselves, then it moves to others. And that's how it really happened. And I really remember all of this, and now I said, my gosh, would any of this really matter now? You know, so I'm definitely seeing all of it, all of this entire movement. I think it's very positive. It's a hugely positive movement, but it needs to, because there's so much happening on one side with the selfie culture. You know, there's even something now called, I forget, there was a terminology, right? When people were actually like, there was so many deaths being caused by selfies, because people were always taking selfies, and like there was accidents, right? There was a specific name to this sort of death because people were taking selfies. So it's very much, it's addictive to the brain, and actually there's science behind it. It's dopamine. You know, every time we're on social media, every time we're seeing Instagram posts, it's a little bit of dopamine in the brain which is released. So your brain becomes addicted to this. You know, scrolling is a neurological addiction. It's like caffeine, it's like nicotine, it's like a drug. It's like a very, very, very tiny dose of a drug that we take it over and over again becomes addictive. So you'll see it. It's become such a natural habit. We got to reach for our phones because we need that dopamine hit. We need to see what's happening on our phones. You know, it draws our attention. It's like watching an action-packed movie. You know, when you're watching an action movie, why are we so glued to the screen? We're like, wow, what's going on? It's because there's so much action that it's a dopamine hit. You know, so that's exactly what's happening now. It's becoming, it is truly a small addiction of sorts, maybe a big addiction. When we wake up in the morning first thing, what do? Most people, they're looking at their phones, they're falling asleep to their phones. I feel like even the way that human bodies, like the thumb is going to be longer, you know, as evolution happens, because there's so much phone usage that, you know, human beings now, they're going to genetically evolve to have longer limbs with their phones and things like that. So,
but you know, at one end, they say that you should constantly remind yourself that self-care is not always Instagrammable. I can say for a fact that, you know, being a new mother, Instagram hugely helped me with information on how women deal with the blues, on how to handle a baby, on how to, you know, go after self-care. Even as a professional, you don't always have the time to come to you to practice yoga or, you know, take tips on nutrition. But your social media pages give us those little tips and tricks to, you know, that we can inculcate in our daily lives to make those lifestyle changes. So in that sense, you think that the digital age is also helping us put the right focus and strike the right conversations on self-care?
Yes. So, see, I love technology. I mean, it may not have come across like that so far, but I love technology. Now, why I love technology? Because it's a tool for efficiency. So like, for example, that till before Insta and Facebook came, it was only television which could showcase people's work. Now, the interesting thing about Instagram and social media is that anybody in any part of the world or any part of the country, irrespective of what you can afford, can get access to quality content. At the same time, they can also themselves be business people, entrepreneurs, showcasing their products. So it's a great democratization of communication. So initially, if you see, it was just the national newspapers and some local dailies. And then it was, of course, before that was radio, and then it was television. But that's it. But now there's a lot of democratization of information. So yes, it does help. I would say anything, any powerful thing, whether it's a nuclear energy or whether it is it's technology, it has to be balanced. So when I say balance, it means that yes, today somebody can stand up and say this product is not good because it has so much of XYZ components, and big companies stand up and they have to respond that there is a problem with the product. At the same time, with social media, hate speeches, targeting, trolling, mental bullying is also there. So I feel what is very important is to use this tool like a tool and to teach everybody how to use it like a tool. Whether it's, like I said, a knife or it's a vehicle which can become, you know, a death agent itself. So the tool has to be used in a way which I think we have to train people. Now, why I'm giving you this example is, I don't know how many mothers are there, but if you try to take away a phone from a teenager, there'll be an anger reaction. You don't give the teenager food, no response. I mean, they'll be fine. I won't eat. You try taking away a phone. Now, these are classical addictive symptoms. So what I'm trying to say is that somewhere I think we have to introspect and teach ourselves how to deal with this new challenge, which is a blessing. But every blessing has a side which needs to be monitored and learned. So I think that, of course, before I finish, I want to tell you, of all the blessings for women, technology is the biggest one. Technology has given so much power to women in their hands, it's unbeatable. So I think that's one of the biggest positives I see in technology.
And as we are on the verge of wrapping this conversation, I want to ask you both, what was your dare to dream moment?
What more?
Dare to dream moment.
Dare to dream moment. Shikhaji, why don't you start the dare to dream moment?
I think dare to dream moment. Okay, there were several of them. But the day I felt that I felt gratitude and I felt responsible for whatever I've got was the day, and it's a long story, but I was invited by the Prime Minister, Mr. Vajpayee, to advise him. That day I asked myself that it's obviously not my talent. There is a higher force which is helping me. And if that higher force is helping me, I need to be more conscientious and more committed and more introspective about whatever I'm doing. So, till a certain age, and there are a lot of youngsters I see, it's all about making your parents proud. Then it's about fulfilling your own dreams, that, okay, I want this, I want this, I want this. But a stage comes when you realize that a talent or anything you get is a gift from the universe. So, thank you. So that was my first time when I actually dared to dream big and decided I will work in this field and make sure nutrition becomes the first call or first port of call for healthcare.
And
you? So my journey is a little different because I feel that my journey is such an unplanned journey, really a gift. A spiritual journey is truly a gift. It's a blessing. And it's a tough journey. It's possibly the toughest journey. But it really comes as a blessing. So I remember my teacher had told me that for 10 years, after I'd become, he's like, you should not look at yoga as a source to earn any money. You should improve your skills and increase your depth of knowledge before you start using this as a tool to earn an income or support your life. I said, okay, ab teacher ne bola hai. In yoga, we have great respect for our teachers and our gurus. So I did this, and I remember I would have free classes in the park. In Lodi Garden, I would have free classes, or pehli class ki, to only one person came, and that person was my mom. And mom bhi walk pe chale gayi. She said ki, haan, chalo class hai, chalo, main bhi walk ke liye ja rahi thi. And I just sat there, I said, are yaar, ye kya ho raha hai? And then 10 years later, just blessing after blessing, maybe all the people that I just taught for free, and thode se log start hue mom ke baad in Lodi Garden. It was called Yoga Sunday. We used to gather in Lodi Garden, and jisko bhi aake yoga karna tha, hum log karte the. Then 10 years later, I see myself, almost close to a decade later, jab International Yoga Day hua tha, sabse pehla Rajpath pe, and in front of me, I was teaching that class, and in front of me were so many yoga mats that I couldn't see the last student. So many yoga mats. And I thought to myself on that stage, wow, from being in that class where there was my mom who also left, to teaching a class and that class at the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest class ever conducted in yoga. So that moment made me realize that sometimes so much of our life is not in our control. Who would have imagined? I said ki whatever I would have dreamt, isse to beyond hi ho gaya. I would not have dreamt of this. And I said, when you surrender, so many beautiful things begin to happen. When we really surrender. So I think that art of surrendering, that art of just being able to somehow let go, doesn't mean we stop working hard. I worked very hard. hard तो बहुत मेहनत की. I hated waking up in the morning. That was number one. सुबह उठने का ही मन नहीं करता था, especially Delhi की सर्दी. We all know how it is, But सुबह उठ के practice करना, लोगों से कुछ सिखाना. I remember this was such a small but real struggle, like a real struggle of blood, sweat, and tears, literally. But, it taught me the art of surrendering. And I think that art of surrendering, where we work hard, get life to flow like a river. जहाँ बस flow कर रहे हो, and the roadblocks come, but जैसे पानी ना जैसे पत्थर होता है बस निकल जाता है side से, and it ultimately reaches the destination. So I started approaching life like this, and it's really helped me. It's really helped me deal with the circumstances that come into your life as a woman. Because even for me, since the age of 18, sabse bada, a huge struggle was marriage. Parents would also say, "Aap bas yoga karte rehte ho, isliye shaadi nahi ho rahi." I said, "Hey, like, she's doing all the yoga, doing yoga or writing books, so uski shaadi nahi ho rahi." My parents, who are very educated people, are saying this. And abhi bhi, such a huge struggle, for women in our country. Really, it's real. So finally, I actually said ki, as a rebellion, shaadi karo hi mat, like. But finally, about 6 months ago, I did get married. But this was a partner of my choice, someone who I knew could support my life, and not the reverse, not because society told me to do so. I think that's still a very major struggle that we all face as women. But jab surrender hua, to pati bhi mil gaya, acha wala. So ye bhi hota hai. So really, I think that's my dare to dream or dare to surrender story.
I think we are ending this conversation on a beautiful note. I want to thank you both for having this conversation in the first place, because I think Gen Z in particular is going to have a tough time in drawing that fine balance between selfies and self-care. So on that note, a huge round of applause for our guests this evening.
I was thinking over there कि एक पूरे सबके साथ selfie लेंगे यहाँ stage पे. But I guess that would be totally inappropriate now. But I'm sure you all will share the pictures. Yeah, we'll take it in one corner.
उनके जो आसपास के इर्द गिर्द के लोग हैं कैसा बात करते हैं. मुझे तो भारत जोड़ो यात्रा में मैं जब नांदेड़ में चल रहा था तो मुझे हकारा गया है. मुझे एक उनके क्लोज व्यक्ति ने तो ये कहा है कि अरे पहले चल 10 किलो कम कर फिर जगह राहुल जी से मिलाऊंगा. पहले चल 10 किलो कम कर फिर जगह राहुल जी से मिलाऊंगा. मेरे साथ जो भारत जोड़ो यात्रा में हुआ है, राहुल गांधी जी चलो अच्छे नेता है, वो अपना काम करें. मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे जी मेरे पिता समान है. मगर कभी कभी क्या है कि खड़गे जी इतने वरिष्ठ नेता होने के बाद भी उनके हाथ बंधे हुए हैं, वो कभी कभी कुछ चीजें नहीं कर पा रहे. राहुल गांधी जी की जो टीम है उनके बाजू में, वो तो जितना पार्टी को खत्म करते जा रही है, उन्होंने तो लगता है सामने वाली पार्टी से सुपारी ले ली है कि हम खत्म कर देंगे पार्टी को. हम जब चलने की कोशिश करें तो उनके जो आसपास के इर्द गिर्द के लोग हैं कैसा बात करते हैं. मुझे तो भारत जोड़ो यात्रा में मैं जब नांदेड़ में चल रहा था तो मुझे हकारा गया है. मुझे एक उनके क्लोज व्यक्ति ने तो ये कहा है कि अरे पहले चल 10 किलो कम कर फिर जगह राहुल जी से मिलाऊंगा. अरे मैं तुम्हारा विधायक हूं, यूथ कांग्रेस का अध्यक्ष हूं, तुम किसी को बॉडी शेम कर रहे हो. मैं फिर भी चल रहा हूं ना, और तुम्हारा खाता हूं क्या मैं. जब मेरे पिताजी भी एनसीपी में गए तब भी मैंने आप सब मीडिया वालों दोस्तों को भी कहा था कि मैं कांग्रेस पार्टी में हूं. उसके बावजूद मुझ पे ये एक स्टेप मेरे अगेंस्ट लिया गया है. मुझे सीनियर लीडर्स का भी फोन आया, दिल्ली से फोन आया, और दिल्ली से फ़ोन आया, मुझे कहा गया कि नहीं, आपने जो स्टेप लिया है कांग्रेस पार्टी में रहने का, वो बहुत ही अच्छा स्टेप है। ये सब होने के बाद आप सबको पता है कि कल एक न्यूज़ आई जिसमें मुझे मुंबई प्रदेश युवक कांग्रेस के पद से हटाया गया। ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है, क्योंकि ये जो एक पद मुझे मिला है, मुझे कोई नॉमिनेशन द्वारा नहीं मिला है, ना कि मैंने कोई लीडर के लिए, जैसे मैंने ट्वीट भी किया कि मैंने कोई यस मैन नहीं बना हूं या मैंने कोई जी हुजूरी नहीं कही है कोई लीडर के लिए। मुझे ये सब करना नहीं था। मैंने हमेशा कहा था कि मैं कांग्रेस पार्टी में ही रहूंगा, पर अगर कांग्रेस पार्टी को हमारी वैल्यू नहीं है तो ये दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। हमेशा कांग्रेस पार्टी बात करती है माइनॉरिटीज की, बात करती है कि नहीं हम माइनॉरिटीज के साथ है, मगर जो माइनॉरिटीज के साथ कांग्रेस पार्टी में हो रहा है उसके बारे में मैं थोड़ी स्पष्टता से आपको आज कहना चाहूंगा, जो मुझ पे बीती है, मेरे दोस्तों पे बीती है। अगर आप देखेंगे तो कर्नाटका युवा कांग्रेस में भी एक मेरा मित्र है मोहम्मद नलपाड़, उसको भी सबसे ज्यादा वोट्स मिले थे, मगर पूरे देश में 2 ही लोगों के रिजल्ट्स तकरीबन 1 साल के लिए रोके गए थे। एक था मोहम्मद नलपड़ और एक था जीशान सिद्दीकी। आप सबको पता है कि मोहम्मद नलपड़ और जीशान सिद्दीकी में क्या चीज कॉमन है, हम दोनों मुस्लिम हैं। हमारे इलेक्शंस के बाद भी बहुत लोगों के चुनाव हो गए और उनका डिक्लेयर हो गया, मगर मेरा और मोहम्मद का डिक्लेयर नहीं हुआ। तो हमने ये भी पूछा कि क्या यही रीजन है कि हम मुस्लिम हैं, हमारे जो पोस्ट है वो हमें नहीं मिल रही है कि हम मुस्लिम हैं। कांग्रेस पार्टी हमेशा कहती है कि हम मुस्लिमों के साथ है। आप डेटा निकाल के देख सकते हो कि मुंबई कांग्रेस का आज तक कोई मुस्लिम पीसीसी सीनियर कांग्रेस का प्रेसिडेंट बना है क्या? आप बात करते हो मुसलमानों की कि मुसलमानों की रक्षा करते हैं, जितना कम्युनलिज्म कांग्रेस पार्टी में अंदरूनी है, जितना कम्युनलिज्म इंडियन यूथ कांग्रेस में है, वो कहीं नहीं है।
Today, Zishan Siddiqui has spilled out the beans which was told by me 6-7 years ago, that Congress is the most anti-Muslim party. It may project for vote bank and for appeasement sake that it is with the minorities, but actually it has done the most damage to minorities. Today, Mr. Zishan Siddiqui is facing it himself, but we have seen that the Congress allowed riots after riots to be orchestrated, from Jalgaon to Ahmedabad, from Nelli to Bhagalpur to Hashimpura. All of this happened under Congress's watch and patronage. And the Congress party used to say Uddhav Sena is responsible for Mumbai riots.
Now in Chhattisgarh, Prime Minister Modi in his address hit out at the previous governments. He also laid the foundation stone for multiple developmental projects in the state. Here's a report on that.
छत्तीसगढ़ के लाखों किसानों को 2 वर्ष का बकाया बोनस दिया जा चुका है। चुनाव के समय मैंने तेंदुपत्ता संग्राहकों के पैसे बढ़ाने की भी गारंटी दी थी। डबल इंजन सरकार ने ये गारंटी भी पूरी कर दी है। पहले की कांग्रेस सरकार गरीबों के घर बनाने से भी रोक रही थी, रोड़े अटका रही थी। अब भाजपा सरकार गरीबों के घर बनाने के लिए तेजी से काम कर दिया है। हर घर जल की योजना, हर घर जल, इस योजना को भी सरकार अब तेजी से आगे बढ़ा रही है। पीएससी परीक्षा में हुई गड़बड़ियों की जांच का भी आदेश दे दिया गया है। मैं छत्तीसगढ़ की बहनों को महतारी बंधन योजना के लिए भी बधाई देता हूं। इस योजना से लाखों बहनों को फायदा होगा। ये सारे निर्णय दिखाते हैं कि बीजेपी जो कहती है वो करके दिखाती है। इसलिए लोग कहते हैं मोदी की गारंटी यानी गारंटी पूरा होने की गारंटी।
Unleashing the entrepreneurial spirit, side hustle ideas for Gen Z. Ever heard of dropshipping? It's a fantastic way to start an online retail business without the hassle of managing inventory. With dropshipping, you can sell products directly to customers without stocking them yourself. If you have a way with words, freelance writing might be your calling. Many businesses are on the lookout for talented writers to create content for their websites, blogs, and social media platforms. With the rise of social media, there's a growing demand for engaging digital content. Whether it's creating videos, graphics, or written content, there's no shortage of opportunities in the world of content creation. Are you a talented artist or designer? Consider selling your creations online through platforms like Etsy or setting up your own online store. Your unique creations could find a market among Gen Z and beyond. If you have a knack for technology, consider offering tech support services, building websites, or developing mobile apps. The tech industry is booming, and there's no shortage of demand for tech-savvy individuals. With the shift towards online learning, virtual tutoring has become increasingly popular. If you excel in a particular subject, consider offering tutoring services to students in need of extra help. Are you passionate about fitness? Consider becoming a personal trainer or offering virtual fitness classes. With the growing interest in health and wellness, there's a high demand for fitness-related services. If you're a social media whiz, consider offering social media management services to businesses. Many companies are looking to expand their online presence and need help managing their social media accounts. Are you a master at planning parties and events? Consider starting an event planning business. From weddings to corporate events, there's always a demand for talented event planners. If you have a passion for photography, consider offering your services for events, portraits, or even stock photography. Your creative eye could turn into a profitable side hustle. Are you fluent in a second language? Consider offering language tutoring services. Many people are looking to learn a new language for personal or professional reasons. There you have it, a plethora of side hustle ideas for Gen Z to explore. Whether you're into art, technology, fitness, or event planning, there's a side hustle out there waiting for you.
Brace yourselves for a revolutionary leap into the world of news with the Republic World app. This is not just an app, viewers, it's a direct conduit to a world of news delivered with unparalleled authority and integrity right at your fingertips. Republic World app is your gateway to the latest updates, live streams, and the debates that have become the hallmark of our journalistic prowess. Download Republic World app, available on Google Play Store and Apple App Store.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to proudly share with you that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has agreed to be the chief guest to deliver the chief keynote address at the annual summit of the Republic Media Network, which is scheduled for the 7th of March. The Prime Minister's presence is the highlight of this year's event, as always, which is on the theme, Bharat, the Next Decade. We are truly grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also extremely happy to share with you that the Honorable Home Minister of India, Shri Amit Shah, and the Honorable Finance Minister of India, Nirmala Sitharaman, will also be keynote speakers at the Republic Media Network's annual summit on the 7th of March. Over the next few days, I will be sharing with you the names of some of our other speakers and how you can be a part of the event as well. The Republic Media Network's annual summit, our marquee event, is on the 7th of March. And our chief guest is the Prime Minister of India.
In the last decade, there's been an explosion of consumer-directed wearable devices that can help them monitor certain health conditions. And while that explosion of technology is great and that interest is great on the patient side and the clinician side, we need to understand more of how to really utilize it clinically to make the best use for the patient, but also to help the clinician make decisions that'll help improve the life of the patient.
पहले की कांग्रेस सरकार गरीबों के घर बनाने से भी रोक रही थी, रोड़े अटका रही थी। अब भाजपा सरकार गरीबों के घर बनाने के लिए तेजी से काम कर दिया है। कांग्रेस परिवारवाद, भ्रष्टाचार और तुष्टीकरण से आगे सोच ही नहीं पाती, जो सिर्फ अपने परिवारों के लिए काम करते हैं, वो आपके परिवारों के बारे में कभी नहीं सोच सकते। कांग्रेस ने सरकारें बार बार बनाई, लेकिन भविष्य का भारत बनाना भूल गई, क्योंकि उनके मन में सरकार बनाना यही काम था, देश को आगे बढ़ाना ये उनके एजेंडा में ही नहीं था। आज भी कांग्रेस की राजनीति की दशा और दिशा यही है, जो सिर्फ अपने बेटे बेटियों का भविष्य बनाने में जुटे हैं। वो आपके बेटे बेटियों के भविष्य की चिंता कभी नहीं कर सकते। लेकिन मोदी के लिए तो आप सब, आप ही मोदी का परिवार है।
15,000 placements in 2022-23. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
Ladies and gentlemen, the anger is unstoppable. You should see the pictures of Sandeshkhali in Bengal to understand what's going on. Despite all the attempts at suppressing the voice of Sandeshkhali, the people of Sandeshkhali, led by the women of Sandeshkhali, are out in full force, questioning and challenging the people who have exploited them and extorted from them and assaulted them. We also agree that nobody should take the law into their own hands. But see the pictures, ladies and gentlemen. See the pictures. See the anger. The administration must also understand and also try to assess why there is so much anger in Bengal today, why the women of Bengal are so frustrated, so angry, and why they've taken to the streets, why Mamata Banerjee is so unpopular. The administration and the Mamata police must also ask, how come these voices have gone unheard for so many years? Till the exploited women have said no more Mamata Banerjee, no more of this. The police and the administration must also ask why they failed to do their job, and why even today, while they side with the mafia, while Mamata Banerjee at least sides with Shah Jahan, they are still failing to do their job. And Mamata Banerjee, her police and her administration must also understand that instead of trying to play a cat and mouse game with the media, with Republic, They must understand that what has happened in Sandeshkhali is a direct result of the government's incompetence and a direct result of their being blind or party to the suffering of the people. As of this minute, I have heard that Mafia Don Shah Jahan Sheikh, who is being backed by Mamata Banerjee, has been denied anticipatory bail. Mamata Banerjee, you're also the Home Minister of Bengal. You must make him turn up. He's your party man, he's your leader, he's your choice. You're supporting him. Don't protect him. Make him turn up. Face the law or resign yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, the unstoppable public revolt in Sandeshkhali.
One thing that was made clear to me is that Yolanda she's gonna continue the fight he had underway. So we're not letting up. This morning I had the honor of meeting with Alexei Navalny's wife and daughter. As to state the obvious, he was a man of incredible courage, and it's amazing how his wife and daughter are emulating that. And we're going to be announcing the sanctions against Putin, who is responsible for his death, tomorrow. And but the one thing that was made clear to me is that Yolanda she's gonna continue the fight he had underway. So we're not letting up. Thank you.
Мы знаем, из-за чего конкретно Путин убил Алексея 3 дня назад. Мы скоро вам об этом расскажем. Мы обязательно узнаем и то, кто именно и как именно исполнил это преступление. Мы назовем фамилии и покажем лица. Я буду продолжать дело Алексея Навального, продолжать бороться за нашу с вами страну, и я призываю вас...
Now in Chhattisgarh, Prime Minister Modi in his address hit out at the previous governments. He also laid the foundation stone for multiple developmental projects in the state. Here's a report on that.
छत्तीसगढ़ के लाखों किसानों को 2 वर्ष का बकाया बोनस दिया जा चुका है। चुनाव के समय मैंने तेंदुपत्ता संग्राहकों के पैसे बढ़ाने की भी गारंटी दी थी। डबल इंजन सरकार ने ये गारंटी भी पूरी कर दी है। पहले की कांग्रेस सरकार गरीबों के घर बनाने से भी रोक रही थी, रोड़े अटका रही थी। अब भाजपा सरकार गरीबों के घर बनाने के लिए तेजी से काम कर दिया है। हर घर जल की योजना, हर घर जल, इस योजना को भी सरकार अब तेजी से आगे बढ़ा रही है। पीएससी परीक्षा में हुई गड़बड़ियों की जांच का भी आदेश दे दिया गया है। मैं छत्तीसगढ़ की बहनों को महतारी बंधन योजना के लिए भी बधाई देता हूं। इस योजना से लाखों बहनों को फायदा होगा। ये सारे निर्णय दिखाते हैं कि बीजेपी जो कहती है वो करके दिखाती है। इसलिए लोग कहते हैं मोदी की गारंटी यानी गारंटी पूरा होने की गारंटी।
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And it's 2024 time. It's time for the nation's sharpest opinion. The Indy as an alliance is not over. It's not yet fully over. In my view, it is in disarray. It is certainly weak. It is certainly lacking sheen. And the question on the ability for the Indy to take on the NDA is my focus today. My focus is whether a new kind of India is shaping up. One in which the Congress party, which was seen as the ringleader of this alliance, the fulcrum, however weak at the start, frantically organizing meetings after making a total hash of the alliance, seems to have changed line and adopted a new approach. A new approach which I don't think can be dissociated from Rahul Gandhi's luxury coach yatra failing and his spring season in England, his England yatra beginning. Because after Rahul has jetted off, we are seeing a different Congress. A Congress which may be in touch with the reality that they cannot be settling terms for the India alliance because their allies are much stronger than them, because their allies have grassroots leaders and they don't. And in that fundamental realization, the Congress seems to be taking an approach that we will take whatever little we get instead of hardballing things. So when an Akhilesh throws half the seats of the Congress's demand, gives them 17, not 34, the Congress says, thank you, Akhilesh, and accepts it. Similarly, in Maharashtra, the Congress is taking a give us what you want to approach with Sharad Pawar. The same Congress that was very rigid on its Delhi seat demand will now take whatever it gets from the Aam Aadmi Party, maybe even a little more if they get a little more to the AAP in Punjab. They are willing to give a little less out here. So they are willing to compromise a big deal. Now, what is all this telling me, ladies and gentlemen? What is it telling you? It is telling you that the Indy is getting together in a new shape, not as strong perhaps, but not yet disintegrated. There are a lot of options on whether this Indy will be easier or more difficult for the BJP to handle. My view is that it would still be difficult for this new Indy to really break through the matrix in UP because the BSP will split the vote. My view is that the Indy may be a factor in Maharashtra if they push through, but there is still no clarity on what the Uddhav faction will bring to the table as opposed to the real Shiv Sena led by Shinde. My view in Kerala, for example, is that there is no alliance, there will be no alliance, and the Congress may get more seats from there. So Indy does not matter in Kerala. And most importantly, I think that irrespective of the arithmetic, even the Indy leaders like Omar Abdullah see Modi 3.0 as a very real possibility. And that's why I think that irrespective of where it's going, the new Indy establishes beyond doubt that the Congress is at its weakest, with everyone getting their way with them because of how weak they are. They're just not in any position to bargain. They're losing to the allies. They're not just losing to the allies, they're losing to their own likes of their own leaders. Kamal Nath is setting terms to them. Ahmed Patel's son and daughter are setting terms for them. Today I was told, surprise, surprise, even old veteran and family loyalist Salman Khurshid is in a rebellious mode because he's not getting his Farrukhabad seat. So in my opinion, this new Indy, with a very, very weak, almost fringe-like presence of the Congress, right? This new Indy, how effective it will be with the BJP is the real question to look at. If the other partners of the India alliance get an upper hand, does the India alliance become stronger or weaker?
I am not a Malala Yousafzai. I am not a Malala Yousafzai. Because I am free and I'm safe in my country, India. In my homeland, Kashmir, which is part of India. Yousafzai. I am not a Malala Yousafzai. Because I am free and I'm safe in my country, India. In my homeland, Kashmir, which is part of India. I will never need to run away from my homeland and seek refuge in your country, honorable MPs.
Very happy to announce that Niva Bupa Health Insurance has come on board as Republic TV's studio partner. Niva Bupa Health Insurance is the fastest growing company among standalone health insurance players in India. It has also provided health insurance coverage to 1.1 crore people in India and settled over 15 lakh claims, processing one claim every 60 seconds. So we are delighted to be partnering with them.
Hello and welcome you watching the Weekend Debate with me, Shavan Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, that big debate still continues. Whether it is Modi versus all, and even if we say versus all, who exactly really comprises that all? Because it seems that it is now only on paper. Having said that, many would still argue that in a country like ours, as diverse as India, you would essentially want a vibrant democracy, which would essentially mean a vibrant opposition too. But that's not really the case. What is turning out is a classic case of an opposition without an agenda. So does this mean that there's a clear-cut advantage that the Bharatiya Janata Party essentially has in the upcoming 2024 polls? That's our weekend debate. And before we begin the weekend debate, also a major announcement coming in from Republic Media Network, as our annual summit is going to be on 7th of March in the national capital. Ladies and gentlemen, let's also take a look at the headlines we are tracking at this hour. Stand by for that biggest news event on 7th of March in the national capital. Honorable Prime Minister to grace Republic Summit as the chief guest, Home Minister and Finance Minister to deliver keynote address. Congress and Aam Aadmi Party finalized the seat-sharing deal ahead of the big polls pact announced in 5 states. Days after Mamata's snub, Congress bargains harder to keep the alliance going with left in West Bengal. Congress insults martyrs, says the NDA might win election if Pulwama rerun takes place. Rahul backs the comment. As Sandeshkhali showdown continues, Trinamool Congress now says Shah Jahan's arrest under ED's purview. The stage is set, ladies and gentlemen, for the mega Lok Sabha polls. And in a significant development, Congress and Aam Aadmi Party have announced its seat share deal for the upcoming polls. Now, as far as the state of West Bengal is concerned, Congress has expressed desire to join hands with the left. Now, this comes after the alliance talks with Mamata Banerjee fell apart, and the big question is, will the Indi be in a position to take on the Bharatiya Janata Party? And just a quick recap of all that has happened through the week. Remember, this entire seat-sharing deal that has taken place between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress has not been without its own share of controversies. Take a look at what's really happening in the state of Punjab, where the Aam Aadmi Party had already declared that they are going to go solo. what really happened in Delhi, the kind of statements that were made by Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson saying that the Congress does not even deserve one single seat. Now, cutting across to the state of West Bengal, you have the Chief Minister of West Bengal declaring that there is a high possibility that the Congress party may not even cross 40. So would that really make them the leader of the opposition or perhaps the principal opposition party? That is the other big question. As far as the Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned, they've already given their clarion call. They say that it's going to be ab ki baar 400 par. What does that essentially mean? Where does the BJP really get that kind of confidence, especially if you look at the number game? How is it really faring in the southern states? All that and much more in this detailed weekend debate where we do a deep down as far as the numbers across all states are concerned. And if at all you were looking at what's going to be the agenda of the India Alliance, that's something that we're still trying to figure out. Hopefully, we'll be able to figure out during the weekend debate. Take a look at this report and then we begin the weekend debate.
BJP has entered election mode in full swing. PM Modi is on a pan-India Vikas push.
छत्तीसगढ़ के लाखों किसानों को 2 वर्ष का बकाया बोनस दिया जा चुका है। चुनाव के समय मैंने तेंदुपत्ता संग्राहकों के पैसे बढ़ाने की भी गारंटी दी थी। डबल इंजन सरकार ने ये गारंटी भी पूरी कर दी है।
Home Minister Amit Shah held a key meeting with senior leaders in Delhi earlier today. The Home Minister is also addressing party workers in multiple states. On the other hand, the Congress has been relegated to playing second fiddle in the India Alliance. Regional parties in various states are dictating terms on seat sharing. In a desperate move to stay relevant, Congress is raking up the past.
एक व्यक्ति ध्यान भटकाता है, कभी आपको बॉलीवुड की बात बताएगा, कभी आपको उधर देखने को कहेगा, कभी सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक की बात करेगा, मगर ध्यान भटकाएगा आपका। उसके बाद पीछे से अदानी जी आएंगे, जेब काट जाएंगे, और दूसरी तरफ तीसरी साइड अमित शाह जी चुप ऐसे बैठे रहेंगे, देखते रहेंगे कि अगर किसी ने कुछ किया तो मैं दिखाता हूं। ये इनका सिस्टम है।
Despite the Lok Sabha election being around the corner, the opposition is yet to announce its agenda. Is the India Alliance running out of options? Let's debate.
Joining us tonight on the weekend debate are Shehzad Poonawalla, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Nikhil Jain, political analyst leaning towards the Congress Party, Akashdeep Muni, political analyst leaning towards the Aam Aadmi Party, and you also have Deepak Reddy Gunapati, national spokesperson of the TDP. We're hoping that in a short while from now, Monojit Mandal, leaning towards the Trinamool Congress, would also be joining in. First, let's get the basics here, the fundamentals of this entire election. You have the ruling party, that's the Bharatiya Janata Party, which already says that ab ki baar 400 par. You have already had Prime Minister on several occasions already saying that what is he going to do in his third term. So there is no ifs and buts as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned. But where do they really derive that kind of confidence from, especially keeping in mind that the numbers down south may not be as favorable as they are expecting it to be? For this, let me first straight away begin by asking you, Shehzad, is it being a little bit more overconfident, or is this an attempt to just spook the opposition parties that, look here, you've already lost the war even before it's begun?
You know, all of our claims are rooted in facts and confidence in the Janta. I'll tell you why. In the last election, there were 224 seats on which we got 50%, more than 50% vote share. And this time we are aiming for more than 350 seats on which we will have 50% vote share. And the reason is Ram Lala. Now you'll say Ram Lala. Ram Lala means R for Rashtriya Suraksha, A for Arthvyavastha, M for Mahila, L for Labharti, L for Leadership, A for Atmanirbhar Bharat. And you can add Gita. Gita means growth, infrastructure, technology and Arthvyavastha. We have taken the growth forward, fastest growing economy. Arthvyavastha has gone from 10th to 5th, it will go to 3rd position. Today there's a digital ecosystem that we have set up. Infrastructure is being built at the pace which was never seen before. This is the reason why we are having the confidence. Nikhil Jain will always like to hear about Gita and Ram Lala. There are Ram Drohis who don't like to hear about Ram Lala, but that we will deal with later.
I have never seen Shehzad, but since it's a weekend debate, let's take the liberty of perhaps bringing it a little lighter. Nikhil,
May
the kind of grin that you
just 10 seconds.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you, but I want to address the grinning Nikhil
Now
Jain
the
also.
grin will go larger and larger. Just give me 20 seconds and I promise you his grin will become even bigger. See, on the one hand, you can see from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari, the Bharatiya Janata Party has now become the central pole of Bharatiya politics in such a way that even in states where we are not the number one party, the number one and number two party come together to defeat us. And today we can see that after Pran Pratishtha, on the one hand, people are saying Jai Shri Ram. On the other hand, look at their alliance. In their alliance today, you have seen that there is Ram Naam Satya Hai that is happening. Mayawati ji left, Mamata Didi has left, she has said I'll fight alone. Then in Punjab we have seen that the same Aam Aadmi Party with whom they are fighting in Delhi, they are saying that we will not fight together in Punjab. Now what a alliance of contradiction, that in Punjab they will fight against each other and in Delhi they will fight with each other. In Kerala, Rahul Gandhi is being told leave the Wayanad seat, and in Maharashtra, Sanjay Raut is telling Sanjay Nirupam zero se shuru karna hoga. But now why Nikhil will smile even more with Mr. Akashdeep Muni? Nikhil ji suniye.
बच्चों की कसम है ना बीजेपी से गठबंधन करेंगे ना कांग्रेस से गठबंधन.
Let's have him full frame 1 minute. Shehzad, we'll try and get you on full frame so that at least people can get.
मेरे को ये राजनीति आती नहीं तोड़ जोड़ की, इसके खिलाफ ये चेहरा चाहिए, ये सारे इकट्ठे हो जाओ फिर इसको हराना है इस पार्टी. कांग्रेस ने इतने साल राज किया, एक काम बता दो कांग्रेस ने एक काम अच्छा किया हो. एक कांग्रेस में भी बहुत सारे लोग हमारे संपर्क में हैं और हम उनका कचरा लेना नहीं चाहते. आज कचरा लेना नहीं चाह रहे थे, आज तो कचरे के पहाड़ को गले लगा लिया. तो निखिल जी बताइए, आप मान रहे हो ना कि आप कचरा थे, या आप मान रहे ना कि भारत रत्न राजीव गांधी का वापस लेना है, सिख नरसंहार में आप इन्वॉल्व थे, या आप मान रहे ना एक थी कांग्रेस पंजाब का स्टेटमेंट. बताइए, जिनको शराब घोटालेबाज कहते थे निखिल जी आम आदमी पार्टी के नेताओं को, आज उनके साथ मिल गए. तो ऐसे अपॉर्चुनिस्टिक अलायंस को, जो अलायंस ऑफ कन्वीनियंस, कमीशन, कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन, डिवीजन और फैब्रिकेशन है, उसको लोग स्वीकारते नहीं है. मिशन और विजन वालों को स्वीकारते हैं. हमारा मिशन और विजन राम लला और गीता. आपके
Nikhil, I hope I get as much time as Shehzad did for his monologue. As you respond to Shehzad, I just want a quick point of one more thing. Nikhil, just think about this. Because tonight, 1 minute, Nikhil, it's not about, a political slugfest that I want to have on the weekend debate. We played out the bite of Rahul Gandhi a short while back. What is it that he's really telling the people? He says that, look here, suddenly you will have Adani coming in, acting as the pickpocketer, and everything will be taken away. Now, in a short while from now, while you respond, I'm also going to show you the images of your chief minister, Telangana chief minister, having a meeting with the Adanis. Your former chief minister of Rajasthan laid out the red carpet for the Adani group. So you tell me exactly, what is it that you go to the people with? The hypocrisy.
So, first of all, I hope I get as much time as Shehzad did for his monologue. Secondly, I don't know whether the BJP will ever cross 400 or not, but 400 out of 100 out of 400 marks. 400 marks to Shehzad for remembering all the very long acronyms. That's the reason I was winning.
It's a golden opportunity for you.
On politics and
Nikhil,
development in the country,
the point is that countering the Bharatiya Janata Party. I'll give you the time.
God knows how does he remember them. Kudos to him. Shehzad is absolutely a wonderful spokesperson, and absolutely wonderful person who can cram together, remember, and then blurt it out without
some
double take.
Nikhil, probably some lessons to be learned for the Congress party, I guess. Look at some of the acronyms that you are coming in.
I know there are no teleprompters around him, and yet he manages to do it without fail. Like, kudos to him. That being said, on the contradictions that Shehzad has been talking about in the alliance, what was it when the Devendra Fadnavis was saying Ajit Pawar jail jayenge and chakki piecing and chakki piecing, and now he's together with that same Ajit
Nikhil,
Pawar?
is this your application to the Bharatiya Janata Party to appoint you as the national spokesperson? Nikhil, Nikhil, is this your application for applying as the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party or for the Congress Party? Because
Absolutely not.
it appears
It is
that you are
my
enamored by
complete
Shehzad.
admiration for
And
Shehzad.
is this also in the season of everyone shifting? Everyone shifting. Are you also on national television shifting to the Bharatiya Janata Party?
Take. I could never do it. I'll be very honest, I can never do it, and I'm sure Prime Minister Modi cannot do it. Every time his teleprompter fails, he hangs. He hangs like a Windows 98 computer in 2024, but Shehzad somehow remembers all of it and so eloquently pushes
Then
it off.
you haven't really seen the Prime Minister. Unfortunately, Nikhil, if you really,
on the topic
you know,
of
this
contradictions in the India
armchair
alliance.
analysis of the Prime Minister, for those,
No.
for those
Let's stick to the
who
real points
actually
in the
covered
debate.
the Prime
Now that
Minister
we've
when
had
he
our
was the
fun-
Chief Minister of Gujarat, will actually tell you that the Prime Minister really does not need the teleprompter.
Oh, now
The
he
grasp
does.
that he
may
has
not
in
have
several
needed them
subjects
15
put
years
together,
ago,
he
but now he's
perhaps
the king
could,
of
you know,
teleprompters.
he
But
perhaps
again,
could have an audience for
let's not make it
almost an
about
hour. So I don't think so. That's a very
Shehzad's
fair
memorizing
criticism
skills.
of the
Let's
Prime
make it
Minister.
about the real points that
Feel
your
free to
viewers
criticize him
want
on
to hear
anything
about.
else.
In the India alliance, when you talk about contradictions, the fact of the matter remains that in Punjab and Delhi, the Aam Aadmi Party is not going to fight against the Congress. They're merely fighting separately. Number one. Number two, when you talk about West Bengal, the parties are
Separately, how
talking
does
about
that
a
work?
coalition. They are not, you
Nikhil,
are
how
not
does
to
that
assume
work?
that
What sort
the
of an
TMC
alliance
and the
works
Congress will not fight
separately?
the elections together. The parties are still laboring out the differences between them. An alliance is close to sealed in Maharashtra with Uddhav Thackeray. An alliance in Samajwadi Party in UP is close to seat with 17 seats to the Congress. There is a coherent and single concerted message of the India Alliance, which is to save democracy in this country, prevent crony capitalism, raise their voices against the atrocities being committed on farmers, against the atrocities on the youths of this country,
How are you
the
doing?
unemployment. Recently,
First of
we
all,
saw a farmer being shot for
before you
protesting
say Desh
and
khatre mein
asking
hai,
what the Prime Minister
no,
in
before
2011
that
said is
begins,
their right.
before that
He was
campaign
talking about a
begins, that
legal
Desh
right.
khatre mein
MSP
hai,
has a
first
legal
of all,
right,
you
and
have
when
to
the farmers of the
understand
country today
that
are
the
the same,
biggest
they're being
threat.
shot.
Okay, 1 minute.
Sorry?
Hold on. Nikhil, before you begin that entire campaign of Desh khatre mein hai, the biggest khatra is your own alliance. Because if you come up with this bizarre definition that we are in an alliance, but we are contesting separately. So this definition in itself is quite bizarre. So you are saying in Punjab, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party are going to fight separately.
We've seen that before. Shravan, we have seen that before, that how in the UPA government, the CPI and the
Because
Congress
in
were
Delhi,
principal opposition parties to each
you
other
did
in the
not
state
even
of
get
Kerala.
you did not even
Yet
get a
they were
single seat.
running the government together at
I'll
the
tell
center.
you.
It was a
I'll tell
wonderful
you
government
why.
that braced
I'll tell
through
you
all
why.
the
Akashdeep
difficulties
can
of the
also
time.
come in. I'll tell you exactly why there is an alliance in Delhi and not an alliance in Punjab. Akashdeep Muni can also come into the picture. Yes. The Aam Aadmi Party is certainly very confident that they will be able to pick up more seats in the state of Punjab because they are, after all, the ruling party. As far as Delhi is concerned, Akashdeep Muni, it's quite convenient because in Delhi they haven't won a single seat in the last Lok Sabha polls. They're unlikely to win any this time because it seems that this is an election. It's all about one particular phase. It's about the Prime Minister. So perhaps it's something that the Aam Aadmi Party has understood. Look, let the alliance somehow remain. It's okay if we give them a couple of seats here and there, and we'll largely be part of the other side of the alliance. It is not because they're serious about this entire alliance. They themselves have said this. Akashdeep Muni, you have actually told the Congress Party you don't even deserve one single seat.
You know, Shravanji, I want to bring some important points. Per capita income of India is 14,000 rupees per month as per the National Statistical Office. This is a central figure, not a state figure. Now, just imagine that a family with, this is for a family with 4. There is 2 children. Now, if children have to get admitted in a private school, the toddler admission fee is 75,000 rupees. That is 2 children is 1,50,000 rupees. So, now a child of 2 cannot get his child admitted in a private school because it's about more than what he earns. So he'll have to give up the whole year's salary. So what he does, he goes to the government school. And the government school in Gujarat, 300 government schools in Gujarat run in one roof. There are many in 2 rooms and 3 rooms. So the government school system is in shambles. So what he will do? अनपढ़ रखना है, यही तरीका है. Same is the condition of healthcare. Same is the condition of बिजली पानी. बिजली आता नहीं 24 घंटे. पंजाब में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार थी, वहां पे बिजली
Can I
नहीं आती
just,
थी.
Akashdeep
हर
Pune,
संडे को
can I
8
just
घंटे
remind you of the
बिजली
budget
काटी स्टार्ट होती थी.
allocation?
नहीं, आप सुनिए, थोड़ी सी सुनिए. शवन जी, लोगों की बात है, आम
Okay.
आदमी की बात है, सुन लीजिए.
Shahzad could also respond to that.
हाँ, नहीं,
But
नहीं, शहजाद
what
को
about the
आने के
budget
पहले सुन
allocation?
लीजिए, आम
The
आदमी की
budget
बात है.
allocation as per,
शवन
I'll
जी,
just give you,
आप आम
I'll
आदमी
give you,
हो.
I'll
आप
just
आम
give you,
आदमी
I'll
सुन
just
लीजिए.
bring in the facts
एक
here.
आम आदमी आज, अब आप पूछोगे ना ऑपोजिशन का एजेंडा क्या है. ऑपोजिशन का एजेंडा है कि बिजली, पानी, सड़क, हेल्थ केयर और एजुकेशन फ्री में लोगों तक पहुंचाना, ताकि एक वेलफेयर स्टेट बन पाए. और यही कार्य दिल्ली में किया गया. The same thing was tried in Delhi. They have tried number of things, but then they have been stopped. The Mohalla clinic was stopped. There was a scheme called Farishte scheme. That Farishte scheme was stopped. भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोगों को बचाती रहे, मरते लोगों को. 23,000 लोग बच गए थे उस फरिश्ते स्कीम से, वो बंद करवा दिया एलजी ने. ये है भारतीय जनता पार्टी का एजुकेशन और हेल्थ केयर मॉडल, और ये है इंडी अलायंस आम आदमी पार्टी का हेल्थ केयर और एजुकेशन मॉडल. लोगों के लिए एजेंडा इज पीपल, कॉमन मैन.
Okay. I'll just tell you one small thing and then Shahzad can come in. As far as the budget allocation in the health sector is concerned, if you really look at the 10 years of the UPA versus the 10 years of the NDA government, the budget allocation is far higher. Secondly, as far as education is concerned, with the national education policy to be brought in, it actually looks into the problems that we have been talking about. I would not say that's the panacea to the problem, but having said that, there is at least a movement forward. Shahzad, the question here is that many are still asking you or targeting you is that you do not put out the data when it comes to employment. You still have a problem with regards to a rising unemployment situation. Today, if you look at the images that came in from the state of Uttar Pradesh, also for the constable elections, for the constable examinations, look at the number of people who are looking for those jobs. So are you still figuring out a situation where it's becoming difficult for you to give the kind of employment that you were promising?
Look, as far as employment is concerned, recently we had 5 state assembly elections on which the main issues were about employment and about inflation, price rise, etc. And in those 5 state elections, the 2 governments which were run by Congress, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, both lost power. In Madhya Pradesh, where the lowest unemployment was there, which was 2%, that government repeated even after 18 years. And the highest unemployment was in Rajasthan, 20% for over last 1 year. Over that, they did not say anything. Today, to take the NSSO data, take the PLFS data, take the CMI data, by all accounts, the lowest unemployment is going on, which is 3.2%. But having said that, since he said that we have all kinds of model, here is the model on which the Congress party is saying something.
मामला है, ये शिक्षा का मामला नहीं है. शराब की बात हो रही है, शिक्षा पर छुपने का काम मत कीजिए.
सुप्रिया श्रीनेत of the Congress party says कि आपका मॉडल तो केवल शराब पे 1 फ्री देने का मॉडल था. हेल्थ मॉडल पर भी सुन लीजिए. आपके दिनेश गुंडूराव कांग्रेस पार्टी के जब आए थे दिल्ली, उनसे पूछा गया मोहल्ला क्लिनिक के बारे में टिप्पणी कीजिए, तो ही सेड बेंगलुरु के नम्मा क्लिनिक सर बेटर. ये क्या हेल्थ क्लिनिक है? ये तो क्लिनिक ही नहीं है. इसीलिए मुझे लगता है कि आपके मॉडल कितने स्थापित है वो तो देश की जनता भी बता रही है, आपकी डिपॉजिट जब्त होती रहती है और आपके एलाइज भी बता रहे. पर आज मुद्दा वो नहीं है. मुद्दा ये है कि इन्होंने कहा पर कैपिटा इनकम 14,000 रुपीज पर मंथ है. बिल्कुल सही है. 10 साल पहले 7,500 रुपए थी, आज पर कैपिटा इनकम डबल हुई है. परंतु मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं, आप बताइए मुझे कि ये निखिल जैन ने कहा कि पंजाब में हम सेपरेटली लड़ रहे, एक दूसरे के खिलाफ नहीं लड़ रहे. अरे मान्यवर, खैरा गिरफ्तार होते तो खड़गे जी बोलते हैं संविधान बचाओ, वहां पर संविधान पर हमला किया आम आदमी पार्टी ने. अब बता दीजिए कि खैरा की गिरफ्तारी संविधान सम्मत है या संविधान के खिलाफ है. सुन लीजिए मुनि जी, मैंने आपके बीच में नहीं बोला. मुनि जी, मैंने आपके बीच में नहीं बोला. अब एक सेकंड सर, प्लीज डोंट इंटरप्ट. मुनि जी, it's 1 versus 5. मुनि जी, it's 1 versus 5. Muniji, it is 1 versus 5. I will not yield my time. I will not yield my time. Let me finish, then you can speak. मुनि जी एंड निखिल जैन जी, आप दोनों मिलकर जवाब दीजिए क्योंकि आपका अलायंस भी बन चुका है. अब बताइए कि खैरा जी की गिरफ्तारी संविधान सम्मत थी या संविधान के खिलाफ थी? पॉइंट 1. दूसरी बात, सिद्धू कहते हैं कि भगवंत मान ने 40,000 करोड़ का घोटाला किया है. सिद्धू सही, भगवंत मान सही. और तीसरी बात, अभी यहां पे हैंग ट्रेलिप्रॉम पर हैंग होने की बात की, अरे सत्ता के नशे में ऐसा हैंगओवर है निखिल जैन जी कि ऐश्वर्या राय जहां नहीं थी वहां दिख रही है, और ऐश्वर्या राय जी को अपमानित करने के लिए नाचने वाली कहा वो जया बच्चन की पुत्रवधू है, शी इज द डॉटर इन लॉ ऑफ जया बच्चन। अब बताइए कि ऐसे कमेंट जो राहुल गांधी देते हैं कौन से नशे में है वो कहते हैं वाराणसी का यूथ ड्रंकर्ड है, वाराणसी ड्रंक है। इस प्रकार का सत्ता का नशा है, अभी भी नशा नहीं उतरा है।
On healthcare in terms of percentage of GDP, India's healthcare spending has declined during the NDA era compared to the UPA era. Secondly, Rajasthan did not have the highest unemployment rate. It is actually Haryana that had the highest unemployment rate at about some 26%. So you can peddle all the lies that you want, but I don't expect you to make pedestrian remarks. And so far as the contradictions of the alliance that you keep on pointing out, please do tell me why
I'm
was
lying
it that
about
the
the
BJP
figures.
had an
Nikhil ji, I'll
alliance
ask you a
with the
simple
PDP
question.
and then dismiss the same government saying that the PDP is a threat to the nation. The fact is that you may talk about contradictions in the India alliance or the UPA alliance, but if there is any alliance in the country that is most riddled with contradictions, it is the
Nikhil
PDP.
ji, your question is noted. Your question is noted. Now can I answer? You have asked me about PDP. I'll answer straightforward. You have not answered about Khera's Giraftari. You have not answered about Sidhu's charge on Bhagwat Mann, but be that as it may, I'll answer about PDP. On the issue of Article 370, we broke ties with PDP. Today, PDP is with you. What is your opinion about PDP today? And secondly, Nikhil ji, I know it is difficult for you to digest facts and figures, but digest
You had it in
this.
your alliance document. No. Shehzad, you can peddle all the lies that you want, but the fact is that BJP in its alliance had categorically said that we are not going to abrogate 370 while we are in an alliance with the PDP. You broke the alliance with the PDP because you wanted to dismiss their government and get the control in your hand. You've completely swept away democracy under the rug when it comes to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. There have been no state elections in the state for close to 6 years now. You've been just dilly-dallying the people. Meanwhile, when you talk about Khera's arrest, when you're talking about Khera's arrest, let's also talk about Satyapal Malik, raids on Satyapal Malik. Why do you feel the need to raid Satyapal Malik, but not even question Ram Madhavan?
It has been done by Punjab police. अरे सत्यपाल मलिक कहां से आ गया भाई? खैरा की गिरफ्तारी पंजाब की पुलिस ने की है.
अच्छी है तो राम माधव की क्यों नहीं हो रही है?
Okay. Can I?
One minute. This is going nowhere. 1 second. Let me
Akash and Nikhil.
Just one at a time, and let us speak one at a time. And please, I request you gentlemen to wait for your turn and let me complete.
1 minute.
1 second. Nikhil Jain, the question was that you say that the agencies are being misused by the center. That's your allegation. Fair enough. But you say this and you're allying with Punjab, with Aam Aadmi Party, which in Punjab has arrested Khera. Now you tell me whether Khera's Giraftari is as per the law or it is against constitution. And if it is against constitution, it is vendetta, then how you are allying with them? In Bengal, you say vendetta is being done by Mamata Banerjee, that Rashtrapati Shasat should be applied. In Kerala, you say Pinarayi Vijayan is doing it. In Punjab, you say Khera's Giraftari is against the politics, is against constitutionalism. And then you are allying with them to save the constitution. And secondly, as far as hypocrisy is concerned, DMK was called as Rajiv Gandhi's murderer. You are with them. You have said that the Bharat Ratna of Rajiv Gandhi should be taken away. This was the resolution passed in Delhi Assembly. Now today there's Akashdeep Muni. Want the Bharat Ratna back, or is he saying that Rajiv Gandhi was not responsible for the genocide? What is the stand?
No. If Ashok Chavan was the main person behind the other scam, why have you allied with him now? Why have you taken him into your party? Please also answer that on those contradictions.
Then why have you kept him for so long?
What about the Sharda scam?
If he was the main accused, then why you kept him for so long?
What about the scams of Shobhendu
Why did you keep him for
Why
so
are
long?
these people still in your party? No, please
Why
answer
did
on
you
that
keep
first.
him?
I
So
had
what
raised the
about
point about
him?
Shobhendu
Can I also bring in the TDP
Ashok
into
Chavan
it?
earlier.
1 minute. Nikhil, 1 minute. We'll come into the basics of it. We'll come back to it because, you know, what you fail to answer is this. That one, in terms of your double speak and your double standards on matters of economy, where you went to the town by simply saying that, look here, there is a major scam that is underway and perhaps you've had the Prime Minister to everyone within the government, part and parcel of it. The Supreme Court has completely junked it. But the fact of the matter is that
the Supreme Court declined to look into
it's like a broken
Shavan,
record because it's easier for Rahul Gandhi to make a flippant comment, and many would say, and he's right. Shehzad is right that you pass off a sexist comment by simply saying that, look here, Rahul Gandhi, it's done and dusted. The discovery of India, as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, it should come to an end. I think so. It's enough. this discovery of India that he's essentially on, the journey that he wants to understand each of the states, I think so he can keep it to himself because the party is in complete doldrums for it. Let me also bring in the TDP right now. Mr. Deepak, as far as the TDP is concerned, in the national picture, you seem to have an equidistance from the NDA, while there are talks that you could finalize your alliance with the Bharatiya Janata Party. But having said that, as far as the TDP is concerned, what is it that keeps you away from the opposition parties? Because we are given to understand that there was a point in time, a lot of opposition leaders were trying to woo Chandrababu Naidu, but he stayed away from it.
Very much true. Very good evening to everybody, Sean. Let me simplify the whole argument here. As a regional party from Andhra Pradesh, now we have decided to go with one of the major alliances, and we are in talks with NDA, BJP. So we had two options.